is back. And we did take a week off.
Or a week late.
But it's okay, because we're back too. This week we have the week 1 reactions. Then we're going to cover our week 2 predictions. Yeah. Then we're going to go over some quarterback situations. And then we're going to talk about our fantasy football league that we have brought up in the past. See who's doing good and whose team's ass. And
I think y'all know whose team's
this
ass.
is Totally Not Biased podcast.
This is Totally Not Biased. All right. I mean, we can get into it. Let's do it. All right. So, week 1 reactions. Honestly, let's go back to the schedule. Yeah. Okay. So, the Thursday night game, everybody knows what it was. It was Buffalo at Los Angeles. Buffalo ends up winning 31-10. Looked dominant on defense. Josh Allen looks like the best player in the NFL. No overreactions there, I don't think. Is everybody in agreement there? No. Yeah, Josh Allen looks like a fucking stud for that team.
Favorite for MVP?
Yeah, for sure. I'm there. I mean,
Patrick Mahomes is right on his ass.
Well, Mahomes has more touchdowns.
If we're going comparative, I think Mahomes had the better game, but Josh Allen, I think Josh Allen played the better team.
They had him ranked at like the 7th best.
Yeah, because Kansas City, they played Arizona. Arizona's like a playoff hopeful.
This is a fucking joke sometimes.
They're 6 weeks without DeAndre Hopkins, and they still won by 20. So did Buffalo. So, like, they both had incredible games. The only way we're really going to know who is more deserving of the award is probably later in the year, because Kansas City and Buffalo, they play.
Are the Rams bad?
No.
I don't think so. They're going to have struggles early on with their offensive line. No Boone's going to get, he's going to get used to, like, he's going to get comfortable. He's going to have struggles because he's young and everything, but I don't think that he's Andrew Whitworth, if that's what you're asking.
I think that's what we saw.
Yeah.
I think we saw that their line is much worse. Their starting offensive line is a lot worse.
They honestly didn't look good going away from anybody other. Like, when they went away from Cooper Kupp, he didn't really look good.
Yeah. Like, Allen Robinson had 1 or 2 targets, didn't have a catch.
He was open a lot, too.
Yeah.
So,
Cam Akers. Oh, fucking fantasy people are up in flames.
Yeah, that's something we will cover later.
One of the biggest questions. Where
the fuck was Cam?
Did you see the clip, though, why he probably wasn't out? Or why he wasn't in? He missed a big block, and someone came through and just
the Bills
blasted Stafford.
The Bills did the same thing with James Cook. He fumbled, and they were like, all right, have fun sitting the bench.
He wasn't expected to be your starter, though. Like, Cam came back, and I'm pretty sure McVay said they want more accountability from Cam. Yeah. And he gets in there, and he's looking left to right, leaves, and someone straight on comes up and just blasts Stafford in the jaw.
Something that's underrated in the NFL is discipline. Because look at the teams that are the most penalized and shit, like Dallas and Philly. Because, like, in the first week, the first slate of games for this week, like, a lot of teams were penalized, a lot of errant throws, a lot of interceptions, especially from, like, some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So it's really disciplined football that we didn't see. It's really, it was up and down all day. Yeah. And kicking, fucking God.
Special teams looks crazy this year.
Yeah, it's so bad.
No one's down on the Rams. No one's saying they're...
No, I don't think it's an overreaction to say that the Rams are a lot worse currently just because their offensive line hasn't gotten up to speed. But once the season gets rolling and they play terrible teams, which they don't have very many of, folks. They have a lot of good fucking teams on their schedule. Yeah, it's gonna get tough.
I saw a statement that said everyone else that week was trying to win. The Bills and Chiefs were coming to make a statement.
Yeah,
they were like, we know we're still the best, and we're coming to put our foot on your neck and prove it.
And they very well could have been the number 1 seed in the AFC last year, but they had games where they lost, like to Jacksonville. Then they lost to Houston. They lost to bad fucking teams, and it was, I don't know, man. Anybody have anything else on this team? We can move on. We can go to New Orleans, Atlanta. Very tight contest, 27-26. New Orleans wins that game.
How long is Cordero Patterson going to keep doing this? It's like every time
he's now getting the bulk of the carries. Like,
that's the fucking thing. They came out and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're finally going to give him the bulk of the carries." Yeah. He's just been our best player for the past 4 years.
Like, where the fuck?
You know how happy he's got to be? Though? He's 30 years old. He's like, I turned 30. He's like, "Hey, I'm one of the best running backs." Like,
that's what I'm saying. Cool. Not only is he one of the best, like, just playing wise, like, think of the places that he's been, like, and it's just crazy to me that like,
he was so good with the Vikings.
Yeah, he was with the Vikings. He was amazing for a long time. He was returning punts.
Yeah,
for the Vikings
he was their best
crazy.
returner, and like they brought in Mike Davis last year along with Cordero, and Cordero was like
They brought
far and away better. It wasn't even close.
That's why I say they brought in Mike Davis because we need a true number one running back.
Yeah, and this motherfucker's running through the tackles and shit. He's still fast as fuck at 34 or 31. I don't even know how old this motherfucker is, but he's old. He's older, and he's fast as shit. We can go into the game as well.
And Marcus Mariota's playing good. It makes me feel good.
Michael Thomas had a good game for your fantasy team.
He had
sat on my bench too.
He's not had almost no targets, nothing in the first half. Jameis just forgot he was out there.
Well, Jarvis was getting the majority.
Yeah, but
of the
I checked his shit.
He's
got 22, and I'm like,
the second he remembered that Michael is that guy.
Yeah,
it was over.
Yeah, he was my flex in the first.
That defense for the Saints, though.
I don't know who they play.
It's looking really sus.
Do I start Michael today?
Yeah, they play. Who do they play?
Hold on. Let me tell you.
We'll get into
it.
We're going to talk about it later. But anyways,
the Saints defense.
Yeah,
they need to step it up.
And that's crazy because that's usually what they rely on. Is or the past couple years, that's what it's been.
Yeah, like a top 5 to 7-ish defense, and now they're letting the Falcons do that to them. They shouldn't have won that game, to be honest.
The Falcons' offense is way better this year, though. They've got actual playmakers back.
I'm gonna ask that before the end of the segment. Don't.
What's Kamara dealing with? What's his injury? Is he looking?
Who, Lamar?
No, Kamara.
Alvin Kamara.
Oh, I just found out about that. Let me.
Yeah, he's like a.
We were just talking about that. They just announced it.
He may be a late time scratch for this game, which sucks fucking.
Because Mark Ingram's looking to get.
I have him in one of my leagues, and
for me,
he's my best running back.
The Falcons
ribs.
After week 1, the Falcons look like Detroit last year for me, where they're just going to be so close to winning every game, but not do
super competitive in every game.
That's good for them.
That's how they were last year. I mean, they were basically the same as Detroit. They had a lot of close games, and they got blown out when they were when it was definitive they weren't going to win. They got blown out. So I don't know, man.
So no Desmond Ritter, you don't think in the near future?
Not
Maybe
right
a little
now.
later in the year?
I think it could happen.
If they're out of the playoff contention, probably hey, all right, see what we can do.
Yeah,
Marcus was running the ball well and extending plays, getting first downs with his legs. If he can continue to do that, then, I mean, it's kind of like the Jalen Hurts situation. He was able to bail and get first downs with his legs a lot. So,
man, they need to go get
that's
Calvin Ridley.
helpful.
Someone needs to, they need to review that. Someone needs to hey, Calvin's out for the year.
When Calvin's back, it's going to be
yeah, they'd be devastated. They'd be crazy right now.
Sharpen that defense up. They'd be kind of scary.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the problem is they have one player on defense, and it's like
they show potential for the future, though.
Grady Jarrett's back on. Grady Jarrett looked really.
I like Grady
good.
Jarrett, but I mean he's going to be getting older. Whereas the people that they're going to need, like AJ Terrell, he's like
they still have Deion Jones, I think, and he's been playing well. So
wasn't he at the Cowboys last year?
No, that was Keanu Neal. Yeah, he's not
somebody
there.
from the Falcons.
Deion Jones is their middle linebacker, but anyways, we can move on from them. Atlanta really surprised me that for everybody.
I think partially
because kind of surprised me too.
Yeah,
they didn't look as good.
That defense,
well, they didn't get the running game going. That's really all it.
Yeah,
it boiled down.
For me, I thought this was going to be almost a statement for the Saints, but then again, I thought the Falcons were bad, so I didn't think it was an actual statement. But
yeah, I mean, do y'all have the schedule pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay, I have it from ESPN. If y'all want to move over to that one, but it's fine because they have it pretty much scheduled through the times that they played. So San Francisco at Chicago, monsoon, and this is definitely going to be something we bring up later. We'll talk more about San Francisco clearly, but I don't think that this game really proved anything to me on either side.
Passing wasn't good.
I still feel this. I still feel the same about Chicago as I did before the season. I still feel the same.
A little bit of hope.
Yeah,
their defense looked really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
they've got
their offensive line wasn't as bad as I thought.
Their defensive stars are their defensive stars.
Yeah,
they're gonna continue to play well. So
Elijah Mitchell too getting hurt really.
Yeah, that's fucking trash. And they got rid of Trey Sermon right before the season. So
yeah,
but
good job there.
Yeah, he's on the.
I keep hearing good things about him. They were really excited for him. So
yeah,
and they just let him go.
He can stay healthy from what I remember.
Yeah, it's his health. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The clips I did see of Trey throwing in that rain though, he looked fine, looked poised, but it's just the conditions.
He couldn't really get his biggest weapons involved either, like Debo and Brandon Ayuk. They didn't really have. Well, Debo, it was a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
They couldn't. They literally couldn't run or throw the ball.
So no worries with this team when Kittle comes back healthy. Everybody.
I think if you had the agendas on either of these teams, they stuck with you. Mm-hmm. If you believe in Trey Lance, this didn't change your mind. If you believe in Justin Fields, this didn't change your mind.
Yeah.
And vice versa about the defense and any other players on these two teams. Whatever you believed, this game didn't change it at all.
There's several like national outlets that their particular topic as an overreaction week or like overreaction Monday, which teams can actually get it turned around that lost in week 1 that we know, like our expectations going into the season, they didn't meet in their first week. San Francisco was easily that team for me. Yeah. And you got Green Bay also, but anyways.
That's why I think if the Bears fandom as a whole, this has to just be the biggest moral. Well, it's a true victory.
Yeah,
but
for sure. And
going forward, I know they've heard rumblings like, "Oh, this is a Super Bowl team. That Super Bowl roster, we found a way to win."
We were ranked. Yeah, the Bears were ranked 32nd in the rankings.
Yeah,
and the 49ers were 3rd. So
this it's crazy because
a bullshit win.
Chicago will be struggling to find wins all season. This may be the only time they get a win this year, and it's against one of the best teams in the NFL. That's how I feel about it. But
I don't think that
they ended up winning 19-10 at home against San Francisco, a tough NFC West team, and they looked damn good. Like Justin Fields he didn't impress me too much, but he definitely looked poised and a lot more confident in his receiving core. So that's pretty much all I've got to say. What about you, Anthony? You didn't really talk about this team much. You're holding it for the segment later.
Everything I have to say is
If y'all have been following the show, Anthony has a lot to say about Trey Lance in the situation.
It's not that
he does.
We'll get to it. I'm not hating on Trey Lance.
No, I'm not saying you're hating. I'm just saying you have your opinion about it. You had your opinion about
this team's too good.
That's what I said.
But
team
your agendas, they didn't
line up. All right, let's move on to Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Team you forgot to. This before we get to them because I watched that game in its entirety, and I'm sure a lot of people's jaws were on the floor that last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Browns and Panthers.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Big storyline there.
Yeah,
a lot going on.
I'm just going down the list. That's what I was going to do, but it's fine. We'll go on to Cleveland.
Baker played good.
Yeah,
Cleveland.
He didn't get to fuck him up like he said he would, but
Cleveland at Carolina. Cleveland wins 26-24. Really disappointing for me because I fucking want the Browns to not win.
Apparently, I didn't get to watch most of this game, but apparently Jacoby played like ass. And
yes,
Jacoby played like ass.
Did they get fucked over
Christian
late?
McCaffrey was all right.
Yes.
Baker fumbled 9 fucking times under the center.
Yeah,
he did not play all right.
So what was the late call that apparently got screwed the Panthers over and cost them a win? I've been seeing that over and over. Like the Panthers,
they were talking about that on fucking Undisputed, but I never looked it up. I'm about to.
While you're looking that up, so Baker looked a lot worse in the first half, and they couldn't run the ball. So he really had to carry him at the end of the game, and they were down 14 points or something. I don't remember. They were down by a decent amount, and they were able to. Whenever he left the field for the last time, they were up. Yeah. So that's what makes me feel like Baker wasn't really the problem in the second half. He put them in position to win, and then the Browns win.
I mean,
they went on a walk-off field goal, which happened a lot in week 1.
Yeah.
So
kickers were the main storyline.
Kickers were the reason that there were losses. Kickers were the reason there was a tie. The kickers were the reason there was a fucking a lot of wins. Yeah. But this game really boiled down to special teams for one team and not for the other.
Yeah, my Browns agenda didn't line up for this one. Just absolutely thinking that all the drama about their team was just going to get to them, that they were just going to be terrible. Mm-hmm. It's not looking like it.
And then Kareem Hunt was part of that drama, and he comes in, he has a touchdown and a bunch of fucking yards.
He's the one that scored.
Yeah.
He had 2. He had a receiving and a rushing touchdown, and Nick Chubb just ran the fucking air.
If Cleveland can run the ball like this all year, they're probably going to be a pretty good team.
We don't care what's going on with all that. We still have the best running back duo in the league. Let's just do our thing.
Yeah. You're saying they're going to be a pretty good team is where I'll give you some pushback?
I'm saying if they run the ball.
I don't think they didn't show me that they're great. And I only say that because it's the Panthers. I wasn't high on the Panthers.
Well, I'm not.
Baker.
Yeah, but when your quarterback situation is, I'm not a big fan of Baker, but Baker's better than Jacoby
for
is.
Sure, yeah.
It's when your quarterback situation is because
I didn't think you'd say anyone was better.
I don't like Baker.
You really just Jacoby just has to be average and not give the ball away.
Yeah.
And just execute.
He just play smart.
Yeah, just execute.
Like
Yeah.
He was 18 for 34. He was 18 to 34 for 147 yards and a touchdown. If he gives you that until Deshaun comes back, you're fine.
They're going to be solid.
Yeah, if they win let's say they're going into week 11.
Because this wouldn't even be a question.
Off the back of a running game that's pretty fucking good, then Deshaun will probably end up making the playoffs with that team. That's how I feel about it.
this wouldn't even be a question if, like, I know we all have our what we think of Deshaun, but if Deshaun was here, this wouldn't even be a question. This
they would have won
11-12 win team.
Yeah, they would have won by quite a bit.
Like they could still possibly, like I said, if Jacoby just doesn't turn the ball over, they'll be all right. Nick Chubb's not going to fumble. Kareem Hunt's clearly going to play.
Yeah,
CMC looked good. I'm happy about that. He
didn't really get a lot of yardage like I thought he would.
He's catching the ball. He's just getting warmed up. He'll be all right.
He definitely looks comfortable and back and healthy. So
I think
that's
they
good.
don't want to overuse him.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be a little.
That's fair.
And just you don't have to be
slowly but surely get back into the lineup.
It's also week
get his
one.
carries back.
We have the best quarterback we've had in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We can have him throw the rock.
Yeah,
like you said, it's week one. I just want to see him healthy.
Yeah,
and they were still in position to win this game.
Is like he always does this. He always starts off good, and then he gets hurt.
Well, let's move on from there. Let's go to let's actually talk about Pittsburgh and Cincinnati now.
This game,
because this game was crazy too.
This game was nuts.
Kickers, fucking
don't
trash.
The kickers.
They are trash.
It was the long snapper.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they had a backup long snapper in there. And
I don't care.
I'm not even going for kickers in this game.
You're talking about just Cincinnati. Fucking
the
Pittsburgh.
Kickers were
Pittsburgh also
well,
missed. Yeah, they miss fucking kicks all day.
Joe Burrow.
So dumb,
That's where I'm going with this. There's
there's
two things in this. There's no way that Joe Burrow turns the ball over 5 times and the Steelers only win by 3. That shows me that the Steelers shouldn't have won this fucking game.
Yeah,
that offense was
it shouldn't
struggling.
have been fucking close because their offense couldn't do anything. TJ Watt left. This motherfucker played out of his mind. He might win defensive player of the year.
Everywhere.
He keeps
he
playing
was
like that, blocking kicks. Like he was amazing.
Well, that defense was scary. It looked scary.
He has a point to prove going into this week as well.
But look at their shit. Like their leading receiver was Pat Freiermuth, which that's all right. But they didn't do anything rushing. I mean, 10 for 23 for Najee.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's bad.
Najee had a little
if we're talking about a yards per attempt, Chase Claypool led. But he was only 6 for 36. They couldn't do anything. This offense was fucking abysmal.
Yeah,
it got saved by the defense. And I don't want to overreact, but that's. I don't know.
Storylines.
At times, it looked like Joe was just trying to force feed Jamar, which I understand. But also T. Higgins went down, so it was like
there were a lot of injuries, multiple injuries we could talk about.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
The big storylines is the offensive line did not look better, and I don't know if that's credit
worse.
to Steelers.
It looked worse.
It looked as bad.
Yeah. It looked.
I don't think it
bad.
looked any worse than it did against the Titans in the playoffs.
But that's.
All right, so we're back. Talking
so
about
you're saying your storyline, the line was the issue.
Offensive line was the thing that really stood out to me, and the other thing is just the injuries. I'm not going to count this completely on Joe, even though he obviously should have played better. If they challenge a play, they win this game. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why they.
That was really bad.
I don't understand that either. But I think Joe's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to bring back. He made it. He pretty much won the game. If McPherson actually hits the field or the extra point,
but they
blocked it.
They fucking
lost. Minka looked fucking insane.
I get what you're saying. I give him the pass for it because I think the Steelers defense is going to do this to a lot of people.
I think they're going to not now.
But because five turnovers is 4 interceptions. It's
one of them you could say
that's
wasn't
bad.
his. TJ,
but even then, if you throw one less, they win the game.
Yeah,
that's where it's like
we're still alive, man. You're not going to win a lot of games with all these turnovers.
At the end of it, Pittsburgh wins 23-20 in overtime on a walk-off field goal. Yes. After missing a field goal, after Cincy missed a field goal, and then they make their final field goal. Yeah. Fucking trash, terrible game. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, they bring in Lyle Collins, and that offensive line still is not holding up the way
it is so frustrating to see a team
sacks.
lose because of a field goal.
Sacks.
That's embarrassing, man.
I don't think anybody in that. So I'm just looking at it from me. I guarantee you, Joe's probably we didn't lose that game because of a field goal. We lost that game because I played like shit.
No, for sure.
Which is what you want your leader to say anyway.
Yeah. Which is, and I don't necessarily think it's his fault because like they say, they gave up 7 sacks. Mm-hmm. I don't like the. And
McPherson's gonna be good. He's one of the. He was prior to the start of this week. He was the most accurate kicker last year.
Yeah.
along with Justin Tucker. So, like, as long as he gets his head straight and they go into week 2 and fucking he's making his kicks, he should be good.
One of them, he nailed the laces. One of
nailed
them, like, that was ugly. I was so sad seeing that one. And then when, the snap was super up high, and then they dropped it down, so he had to take, like, an
McAfee went
second.
into depth about this. Like, he's a kicking guru, so he knows what it looks like on the tee, and it was fucked up from the beginning.
How much of the blame do we give Burrow, though?
I'd say he lost them the game.
Yeah,
is he playing with the little Carson Wentz recklessness where he's like, I got T down there.
Not necessarily.
You don't think he's making bad decisions?
This isn't it's
more defensive.
Or is he rushing because of that O-line?
Game planning and like getting him into a rhythm of just making bad decisions.
Like I guarantee you, at the end that we're going to be doing this week after week. The Steelers are going to be making some good quarterback look like this.
Yeah.
If Minka's playing like he is alone, on top of the fact that TJ's Watt didn't tear his pec, so he's just going to be out a little bit. Yeah. He's going to be back. This defense is.
If TJ,
this defense makes me so mad because like the weight, and I'm maybe overreacting a little bit because the Bengals were in the Super Bowl last year, but that defense looked like a Super Bowl winning defense.
Yeah,
that defense looked like if they were the fucking defense for whatever team's in the Super Bowl, you're good.
Do you think another decent pass rush gets 5?
Week 1, but they were good last year.
Defensive player of the year.
Do you all think that another decent pass rush gets 5 sacks on Burrow though? Because it was what? It was 5 sacks, right?
That offensive line didn't look. If we're not going to go worse
but
than last year, it didn't look
with the Rams.
better.
We can't do the same thing. We can't say that the Rams are going to get better and then not. Expect that of the Bengals. So my expectation is the Bengals' offensive line finally gets conformed and they look.
They're mixing back.
They also went against the best pass rusher in the entire NFL. They're going to go against really great pass rushers all year. Myles Garrett, they're going to be going against some of the best pass rushers. If they can't get it right after a couple of games against those guys, then that's where I have issues with them. But
I think they'll be fine because we saw last year. They didn't need an offensive line.
No,
so
and they still in the Super Bowl.
I think they're going to be fine.
Spread them out.
We say that. I hate hearing that because it's like we say that, but the reason they lost is because they couldn't block Aaron Donald.
No.
You couldn't block, and it's not even just Aaron Donald. You couldn't block Leonard Floyd. You couldn't keep Von Miller away, which I understand those are big names, but you lost because of the offensive line.
Yeah.
You were close to losing to the Titans because of the offensive line.
Yeah.
My biggest thing that we're not talking about is that Steelers offense. Because more than likely, every other team, you get 7 sacks and you're
70 minutes of game time.
You take the ball away that many times and you're not doing.
If that's Kansas City, they win in their game by 60 points.
Oh,
they hit 60 points.
That's the highest
Your
scoring
offense
NFL game we've
producing
ever seen.
Easily.
The bare minimum to win this game, you're giving. You had the ball that many more times.
You're ending so many drives with sacks. Sacks are basically the biggest drive killers, along with penalties in the NFL.
So
you get a sack on first down, it is fucking over. You get it on second down, the drive is essentially over. That's how it goes in the NFL. If you get sacks, you're able to end drives. And then those penalties and the turnovers that they get. Pittsburgh, if they can get their fucking offense in check, they may be decent.
Pittsburgh fans might be my favorite because Pittsburgh tweeted at the Bengals after that talking shit. And everyone was ripping them. We had 70 minutes of game time, 5 turnovers, and we only won by fucking 3.
A little self-awareness
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you all have no self-awareness.
That does not happen anywhere else in the league.
But
is this really hurt Mitch?
Huh?
Hey man, we got 5 turnovers for you, and you couldn't put us in the end zone one more time.
It's rough. I
know Najee got tweaked a little bit. Chase.
There's nothing about
Kenny Pickett. Put Kenny Pickett in the game.
That's what I was about to say.
Get him in the fucking game.
Kenny Pickett's the game changer here?
Who's their backup? He's
two.
He's
Joshua Dobbs is probably the other one.
I thought it was Mason Rudolph.
Mason's 3.
Yeah, Mason's on there too.
Gotcha.
Let's get the fuck away from this game. It was tough. But let's move on to Philly at Detroit. I was at this game.
Fucking dangerous. That's all I have to say. You beat them. I'm happy.
Yes.
But Detroit is going to be exactly like they fucking were last year.
Thank you.
Dangerous and close in every
I'm glad we have a
if there's not a
decent-headed
moral
person
victory,
saying
this
what
is
the
the
fuck
biggest
happened.
moral victory for any team over the past weekend.
So
Easy.
I went to this game, and that's really why we were off, because our scheduling was fucked. From the time that I decided I was going to Detroit, it was a great experience. Detroit fans were fucking sick. The entire stadium was packed. It was loud. That was a big reason why the offense was kind of struggling late in the game. was loud as fuck.
My ears were ringing. Damn defense.
Leaving the stadium, my ears were fucking ringing because of how loud it was. This is the most optimism a fan base should have for their team going in. Like, Detroit made a lot of adjustments, made a lot of improvements, got probably the best player in the draft, one of the best players in the draft, and he looked pretty fucking good. And their defense was looking pretty bad for a while. Because it's really, to me, if they can get their defense adjusted enough in Detroit, they win that game.
Okuda played really well in coverage. He had a lot of, he didn't give up a lot. And like you said, they just locked down.
And this is the same thing that happened with Marcus Mariota in Atlanta. He was able to extend drives. The fact that Jalen's got the wheels to extend drives, kind of like Lamar, all these running quarterbacks, they're getting first downs with their legs. That's devastating to a defense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's tiring. You keep the same personnel on the field, and if you're running tempo offense like we did later in the game, it's so tough to. It's incredibly tough to get the teams off the field that have offenses that keep getting drives going. Like 15 play drives are fucking incredible, and to win 38-35, the defense on the Eagles' end looked fucking horrible. Given the talent they have, it's not acceptable.
DeAndre Swift lit you all up.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift looks.
Lit you
that's
up.
The thing. Like, broken tackles and missed tackles from our defensive personnel, not fun. Like, it's going to happen a lot if that's the case. Like, dude, it's annoying.
I don't even know how to take this game because, like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, any team that puts up 24 points in a quarter, you shouldn't lose that game.
No, and it was
which
close.
You didn't.
It was close.
But it's like I was saying, if the defense, you're like.
No turnovers from the offense.
The time of possession was close. You led the time of possession by 2 minutes or 3 minutes, which was good. But I mean,
it's really the defense.
I don't have a lot to say about this game. My biggest thing is this was one of the very few games I expected a statement win.
Yeah, and it wasn't that.
It was not.
It wasn't.
This was supposed to be.
You're not getting that from the Lions.
I'm talking about Eagles.
No,
everyone is supposed to be. They rebuilt this entire team to be based around Jalen. Jalen is supposed to be that guy this year. He didn't show me that he's that guy. I think he played great. I like this, but I expected a big statement here, and it wasn't. So.
He didn't have any.
Is that really on him though? They put up 38
not,
points. I mean, you expected.
He got his target involved early. 10 catches, 155 yards for their best player.
But what I was meaning by that is you're not getting a statement win against Detroit. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, they were like no team. That's how it was last year.
Detroit is going to be.
I mean, there's plenty of
like this
statement win.
Yeah, but Detroit is going to be like this in every game.
Philly played them last year.
Like you were expecting the margin.
I don't think the Bills are letting them put 35 points on them.
Yeah,
I mean,
but here's the
Eagles,
thing.
They got some question marks, obviously.
Here's the thing. Detroit last year, we played them, beat them 44-6. That's considered a statement win.
Yes, very much.
This, to me, tells me that our defensive schemes are not where they need to be. Yeah. Jordan Davis had 26% of snaps, I believe.
Didn't you all had a pretty good lead at one point, didn't you?
We were up 24-14 at the half.
So were y'all just playing not to lose? It's kind of what it sounds like. Y'all were
well, we were running the ball quite a bit, and we were extending drives, but then we tried.
Miles looked good.
Miles looked amazing.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where they were kind of locking up, and
I just think Detroit's better.
I hope so. If I'm rooting for a
they
team,
are a lot better than last year.
That's
That's how I feel. And Jared didn't really lose them the game. He had the pick six, but other than that, he played he was playing great.
Yeah, they've got offensive weapons.
10 plus receptions, consecutive receptions in a row. I don't know. I feel a lot better about Detroit than I feel more down on Philly. I feel like Philly's definitely going to get their defense tweaked and figured out because we were top 5 in scoring. I'm pretty sure last year. Yardage isn't a big deal to me. I don't really care if we give up a lot of yards. But James Bradbury looks like a great addition. Jordan Davis really didn't get the snaps he needed, but if he gets upwards of 50-60% of snaps this week, we're going to win the game because Dalvin's got to get going, and our corners are going to lock down anybody outside of Justin Jefferson.
I don't think
Derek Barnett's out for our. He tore his ACL.
That's a big blow.
It sucks.
I don't think y'all are winning this game. But when we talk
we'll talk about that later.
When we talk about the Vikings,
we can definitely wrap up on the Eagles.
He'll talk about the Eagles for an hour.
It was great.
Move on to the Colts and the Texans. Who the fuck thought
we could just skip this game?
I mean, yeah,
really. The fucking
one thing stood out to me. We gotta get rid of ties, man. We gotta get rid of it. We gotta change.
I swear to fucking God, I think the same fucking thing.
That's all.
It's so bad.
This game.
The only reason we don't have ties is because of conflicting time schedules. Who cares?
No one cares.
We don't want to see this shit. Nobody wants to see the Texans and the Colts fucking tie.
Yeah.
I think everyone had the Texans losing this
division
game,
rivals getting a tie.
We can't
in the first game of the year is going to fuck up seeding later in the year.
We can't even take away from the fact that, hey, the Texans fucking put up a fight. We can't even feel happy about it because of the fact that it's like, look how the game fucking ended. I don't care about it. Yeah. I don't. Ties are the dumbest thing in the world. If this is supposed to be the best fucking, I think they should do the same thing for the NBA. If this is supposed to be the best fucking players in the world, and this is supposed to be the best fucking teams in the world, let them fucking go until somebody fucking wins. I don't care about your fucking time schedules because 9 times out of 10, nobody's fucking watching that game anyways.
For their fantasy team, that's about it.
That's about it. Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, but you're seeing it on local broadcasting where, like, if you're in Indy or you're in Houston, you're seeing this game, and the fact that
they're not happy
it ends and the way it ends is fucking stupid.
You've been to a game that finished with a tie.
Yeah.
How did you fucking feel?
It was a waste of time.
Exactly.
It is a waste of time.
That's what it is.
It's basically like...
You can't really talk shit leaving the stadium like... Yeah.
This game was on the schedule.
We almost got you.
Essentially, this game was on the schedule, and it should have never even been played, is how I feel.
Hey, I think the Texans are feeling great.
It's really just practice.
If I'm the Texans, I'm feeling great too because the fucking
borderline playoff team last year, and they're like, "Hey, we didn't lose."
I'm not. The Colts looked like the Colts against the Jaguars at the end.
They weren't. I don't think
they didn't look any different though. Michael Pittman played good, and Jonathan Taylor played good. That's about the exact same thing I could expect from that team last year.
I don't think.
Like the quarterback wasn't stellar, their defense wasn't stellar because like. They should have won this.
I'm not going to overreact. I think the Texans are still bad. I think the Colts are still
very average at best.
Like it's above average is what I believe.
Yeah, they're the best team in their division, which is the same.
That division, you think about that division, it's very winnable.
It's fucking.
Hey, I'm
trash.
off that Dameon Pierce hype train too.
You're off of it.
They're off. The team's off of it, so they don't. They're off of it. I hope they give him more touches, but man, they obviously don't like him like they were talking. So
I think. It's week 1.
Exactly.
I think it's going to get a lot better.
Please give him. He's shown real promise. It's like him and Brandon Cooks are like the only bright spots in that team. So
y'all aren't going to see this anyways. But Julio's more than
we can move on from this game.
I'm assuming you have a lot to say about this. Or go ahead.
Well, are you talking about the
Patriots? Dolphins.
Yeah. Well, the score for Houston Indy was 20-20, and I don't think we mentioned the score for Philly. It was 38-35.
Yeah.
Philly wins. Tie in the fucking Indianapolis-Houston game. Trash. Garbage. Fucking New England. What's going on, bro?
Let's go ahead and just get the score out of the way. 7-20 Dolphins win. Where's you?
7-20? Y'all couldn't muster another fucking 3 points?
It should have been more. They should have beat us by more. Our defense played great in the middle of the game. We started running the ball at will. They couldn't fucking stop us. The problem is we don't have a single fucking person to throw to. Once again, we were the worst fucking team in terms of separation.
Keep going.
We couldn't fucking do anything.
Thank you.
We ran, this isn't, I'm not talking shit. They could not stop us running the ball. Damian Harris was all over these niggas'
Y'all have always
necks.
been a good running team.
Every fucking day.
3 deep.
Our offensive line didn't look terrible until late in the game, personally for me. Mm-hmm. The problem is when we get them on 3 straight 3-and-outs, and we don't do anything with it. We got lucky on Ty Montgomery fucking rolling into that touchdown.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I can talk shit against the Cowboys.
Is Jacoby Myers in the doghouse? What is going on with him? Your receivers cannot
Xavier Howard.
Yeah,
Xavier Howard was following.
Separation, bro.
I mean, it's pissing me off because if we're fucking looking at it, Mac didn't play terrible. I know I'm gonna look at it. He was 21 for 30 for like 2
high completion percentage, which he's capable of. That's not the issues with him. It's
he was. I don't
30
care.
30 passes in that game.
I hate hearing that because that's what Brady was for his entire fucking career, and it got him 7 Super Bowls.
No,
yes.
No.
Brady was just able to hit
highlight plays. Mac is never going to be capable of highlight plays with this receiving core.
He played. He was 70% completion percentage for 213 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and an 87 quarterback rating.
The push that I'll give you back is you are very critical on anyone saying dink and dump for the Patriots, but whenever we go, oh yeah, that's what Tua's going to do. You're like, oh, he can't throw the deep ball. He's ass.
No.
You have to make up. You have to be one side or the other on this.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think
Tua can dink and dunk, but he's going to get more rewards from it because he has better players. That's fine.
I'm not arguing that. But
this offense isn't going to be. It's probably going to be 32nd in the NFL.
So,
that is not an overreaction. New England may end up having the worst offense in the NFL by the end of the year.
Well, yeah.
Along with Dallas, which that's not really a given because I thought they were going to be way better. But we'll talk about them.
Our top. Or 2 and 3
some of your best players are out.
Hurt.
The fact that y'all are fully healthy, except for Mac now being hurt, because we
don't have anybody. But we did good in the positions that we should have. We ran the ball well. Our offensive line played well, and our defense got 3 and outs. I can't ask our team any more.
That's
than
the only silver lining I'll give you.
The problem is our wide receivers.
The defense.
We have a wide receiver that we can throw to, and this score is not this.
Yeah.
The defense looked better. The fact that they were able to hold Miami, who has prolific offensive stars on their team, they can hold them to 20. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
But y'all may have a good point spread by the end of the year because your defense is holding teams to a lot less points than they would normally get, but y'all are not getting more than 20 points per game with this offense. And you don't have a play caller. I don't give a fuck about it. Could be any team.
It doesn't matter. There's not a play caller in the league that can do anything.
You could be on Kansas City and have no
I
play caller.
don't think you understand how bad this fucking we had to go to give Ramondre Stevenson out of the back.
I tried to tell you.
For me,
I tried to tell you it was going to be bad. It wasn't going to be fucking 12 plus wins. It's just not. There's not enough.
Well, yeah, I'm not.
The Dolphins didn't look nearly as good as I expected them to.
Oh,
and that's the credit to Patriots. Other than that, I feel pretty good.
Jalen Waddle looked average outside of that one touch. His biggest. I mean, it was his biggest play of the game.
Yeah.
Tyreek got a lot of receptions, but we kept them bottled up. Yeah. Generally, for what Tyreek can do.
But that's the game plan. You have to keep them bottled up.
We did exactly. We followed the game plan, and we did the game plan to a T. Yeah. The reason we lost this game is because we have nobody to throw to. You give this team a number 1 wide receiver, it looks different. It just does.
I don't know about that.
I mean, can't you say that about 90% of the league?
No, because 90% of the league has.
Position where
we have the worst receiving core.
Every team has a number 1 receiver.
There is not a team in the NFL that has a worse receiving core than
except
us.
That is the fact. And y'all have the most expensive room too, which is bullshit.
Is that Belichick and his team? He can't look at a
wide receiver room.
Yes, y'all have the most expensive wide receiver room.
Tight ends, maybe.
No,
we don't have any money in any wide receiver.
Nelson has fucking $13 million.
No, it's another team like Jacksonville or Detroit.
It's
look it up. It's ridiculous. Y'all have the most expensive wide receiver. So what was your biggest
take out of this, Brandon? You think it's more of an indictment on the Patriots, or you think more of an indictment on the Dolphins? You said you expected more of them.
I'm just feeling good about my 6-12 prediction for the Patriots. That's how I felt.
They are going to get a top.
I actually think it's actually a bad prediction.
I'm going to go on the record.
Worse than that, but
that's it.
I'm going to go on the record.
You can't watch that game and tell me we're going to be worse than that.
I'm going to go on the
record.
You
didn't watch the game because we followed the game plan to a T. The only reason we didn't do anything is because our
your game plan is going to end up getting you a top 10 pick. I'm going on record.
Y'all
are going to.
This is a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
With our wide receiver core like that. I don't.
If you follow your game plan, you still end up winning or losing by 13 and scoring 1 touchdown. That's going to be bad all year.
You're making the case for me, like in my brain at least, because you're saying we did everything perfect and lost 7-20. Makes me go, they're horrible.
Still could muster more than 7.
Yeah, but this is also the team that people were saying was going to be in the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year.
And that's why I said the Dolphins didn't look as good as I thought.
The Dolphins?
Credit to the Patriots.
Nobody was saying that. I was
you did.
Yeah, I said it.
That's what I was saying. People were saying that this team is well enough to compete.
The Dolphins are good as fuck, and they beat the perennial fucking dynasty in the NFL.
It's the same thing as fucking Skip saying, "Oh, we held the GOAT to 19 points." Yeah. We held him to 20 points. We have Mike Evans.
Nobody has
very well be
defense.
close.
Your defense will never have issues with that coach being there. But
that's what I'm saying. And
what's your biggest takeaway from this game?
My biggest takeaway: y'all aren't scoring more than fucking 15 points a game. That's what you're going to average. You're going to be the worst.
You're reiterating what he said.
The worst offense in the NFL, bar none. It's not even close. I don't
agree with that.
It's easily the worst offense in the NFL.
I mean, Devontae Parker's your number one,
because
right?
we were third in rushing last year
after 1 week.
Last season, we were a top 3 rushing team in the league.
No one is debating your running ability. That's
last year is last year. I'm talking about this season. Y'all are going to be 32nd of 32 teams in offensive fucking points.
No.
Not happening.
So Devontae Parker's going to come along and Jacoby Myers and
Devontae Parker.
Devontae Parker.
I think he's got the lowest percentage of separation of any receiver.
Yeah.
So bad.
That's insane.
That's how it was last year.
All
right.
Why?
Let's get the fuck
That big motherfucker can't get open.
I don't want to rip this team any more than I have. They're fucking not looking good.
I'm big on the Dolphins. I think Tua is doing what he, except for that post.
The same thing you just said. It's week 1.
Yeah.
We're not going to be.
He
this
literally
bad
said,
all
"I'm not
year.
the tallest guy. If my receivers can't see me get open, you have to see me so I can see you." And I'm like, "Why are you saying that?"
All
It's
right.
not.
Let's
It's like
get
seeing ghost type shit. You cannot say that as a quarterback.
All right. Let's move on. Baltimore at New York Jets.
To yourself.
24-9. Baltimore wins in New York.
Not much to say about this.
Lamar
game.
Jackson is back, baby, looking real fucking good.
I have 2 things positive. This made me actually excited for the Jets a little bit, even though this game was horrible for them.
Yeah.
If you're going to let Joe Flacco throw the ball 59 times,
Oh my fucking god!
I can't wait.
Get Mike White in there, man.
I think
59
Zach to come
59
back.
passes
He's
from
not
Mike
gonna
White.
fucking-
When Zach comes
59
back,
passes from Mike White. He gets a couple touchdowns.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Joe
If
Flacco's
Zach-
fucking garbage,
if
man.
Zach is throwing,
If you want to
59
talk
times,
about a game that
ooh,
played
this
to
is gonna
win,
be
the
good.
Ravens played that game to win.
Oh,
they started off
Yeah.
so slow. Lamar, they couldn't get which actually they couldn't get the running game started at first, which made me feel because Lamar actually
Bottled
had to
up.
throw.
Talking about bottled up. Lamar didn't really have crazy stats.
Yeah, but he
Rushing.
threw all over.
Yeah, but
him, though.
that's the thing. Yeah.
It was.
Oh, you're gonna treat me like a running back? Well, I'm
It
gonna
was-
treat y'all like a shitty defense and be a quarterback and fuck y'all up. Like
And then
that's
the
what he did.
only other thing is the guy that I've been just obsessed about, Sauce Gardner. 34 coverage snaps, 1 catch allowed for 8 yards, and 1 forced incompletion.
Hey, talk about the other guy on the other side too.
Yeah.
His
He
other,
did good too,
yeah,
but,
that quarterback duo is scary.
Yeah, it made me excited for the Jets, and I didn't think they were going to win against the Ravens, even when they had Zach. So
Yeah.
them losing this game didn't change my mind. It just, if you're going to let Zach throw 50 times, I'm excited.
I'm surprised that the
excited.
Jets didn't get Garrett Wilson more involved.
Yeah.
Like he had a couple catches, but he wasn't.
This team
He's
is
the better-
bad.
wasn't
Corey Davis
crazy.
didn't do much either.
This
Yeah, I think this
team
is
is
about the
bad.
Jets seeing what they have. It's like
Yeah.
we don't know who's really Brees Hall or Michael Carter. Just kind of see what they can.
You're
do
getting enough
there.
of a sample
I
size.
I don't
with
think they
throws.
expected to win this game. They
No, it's
just
the Ravens. I mean, it's a really solid team that they went against. And
defense played really well. though.
Yeah, and we're looking at, a rookie running back that's supposed to be making his debut. We're looking at a backup quarterback. A lot of rookies on this team. A lot of second-year players on this team.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited for this Jets team. I like what they showed. I just think that they're
Does anybody have any more takeaways on this game? I feel like there's not too much to talk about with them, just because we know
There's
what
not,
happened.
because,
the
it
team
is
that
the
looks
Ravens,
better
but,
won by quite a bit, and Lamar looks like an MVP caliber type player again. Which
Better hold on because he's bouncing.
he's throwing.
At the end of the season.
Talk about worst receiving cores in the NFL. He may have the second worst because they're not proven.
Who?
The Ravens. They're just
You're
not.
high.
I don't know about
Devin
second
Duvernay,
worst.
Rashad Bateman, that fucking receiver
Are any of those guys
was
considered
on
number
fire.
one? Are they
Bateman's
considered
good.
number
They
one?
don't-
Devin Duvernay has been
They're not good.
getting
Of every fucking team on here, there's
hyped
nobody
since
worse
last year.
than the Patriots, and then clearly Baltimore has the second worst
I don't
receiving
think
core.
that's-
I think
the
Count
second
Mark
worst,
Andrews.
but-
They need to get him more involved. But
Yeah.
if you're counting
maybe
Mark Andrews,
Jacksonville.
I'm upset.
Jacksonville has a terrible
Jacksonville.
receiving core.
Which is who we're getting to now.
Yeah, we'll go Jacksonville at Washington. Carson Wentz debut
This
back.
game was way closer than I thought it'd be.
The game score was 28-22. Washington wins late in the game, and
Look good.
Carson Wentz looks like he's back on the path to being an MVP candidate.
Shut
That's an
the
overreaction.
His 2 fucking turnovers were
You sound like
Horrible.
everybody every single year. Carson
Horrible.
looked pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And then it's
That's how he is.
his
give
statistics were
it a
good.
few weeks.
The problem is,
I'm not
They
saying
played the
he's.
fucking Jaguars.
I'm not saying he's going to end up being the MVP.
You just said don't put him in the same sentence. Is
look,
MVP?
Look,
He's not.
I think
He's
we're
like the third
overreacting
leading
about-
He looked
passer.
pretty damn good.
I'm just saying.
They said that with the Colts actually.
After
Oh,
one
he's got a good roster.
After
Super Bowl
1
roster.
week, he has over 300 yards passing. He had 4 touchdowns, 2 picks.
I mean,
Picks
he's
were
on
fucking
pace to
terrible.
do what he does every season.
Exactly. Yeah,
Very
I'm not saying he's going
fucking-
to be MVP. He's just in the fucking discussion right now. Currently,
Last
with
year
the
he was
power
35
rankings
last year he
after
was-
1 week.
Last year he was 3,500 yards on 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a 94
Pass
QBR.
rating.
No,
Oh, that-
QBR. Well, yeah,
passer rating, yeah.
Like he is. I mean, he's on pace for that. He's on pace.
But he'll
in
have
every
games
stat.
where he ends up losing because of picks like the screen pass. That's what it'll end up being. You'll end up losing a couple games of Carson Wentz if he ends up doing shitty plays like that. Ground the fucking ball if the entire defensive line gets through and you're throwing a fucking screen pass. You cannot make anything out of that.
They made a big
that's
fucking...
That's the point of the play. Whenever they notice that you're running a screen...
That's what it was. You asked what the fucking thing on the Panthers. It was that fake spike. He fucking Jacoby Brissett went to spike and took the step back. And then he was like, oh, fuck.
Like, that's a dumb fuck play that Carson would do, I think, personally. Like, that fucking screen pass interception was horrible, and he's lucky that they couldn't get it done late. That's how I feel. And they're Scary Terry looks amazing. He got Jahan Dotson involved. Yeah. He didn't make a lot of terrible throws, but the ones that were terrible turned into interceptions.
We talked about the Pat McAfee show, and I don't know if you all got to see, but they did the sideline commentary. Yeah. And I love seeing the Scary Terry was like, hey, I'm open deep. Throw that ball. Like, he's playing a little sloppy on that coverage. And then, Carson Wentz throws the deep. They win the game. I mean, I like seeing that they literally called that shot at the end of the game. So it's cool to see.
But that communication has to be there.
Yeah.
And Carson struggled with that, and that's why he wasn't staying with Indianapolis, because, it wasn't really the play on the field. It was, the culture around him being the quarterback there. That was the big narrative.
I mean, this could be the deepest receiving core he's ever played with.
Yeah. Jahan's better than pretty much everybody past Michael Pittman, I think.
Yeah.
And then I think Terry's better than Michael Pittman. But
yeah, same. I agree 100%.
I think Logan Thomas is pretty good.
He's good.
Yeah,
Michael
Pittman's good as fuck, though.
Over Scary?
I wouldn't, but
it is close.
Yeah, it's too early for his career in my eyes. Yeah. Terry got a fucking extension.
Fucking stole.
Michael's in his second year.
Fantasy league.
I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why y'all were sleeping.
Yeah, and he gave up fucking who's Nick Chubb.
And?
That doesn't look like a bad idea.
It's pretty much Nick Chubb and Pittman for Keenan Allen, because Breece Hall isn't getting the carries to be.
The only thing that sucks is Keenan got hurt. He's probably going to be out for a couple more weeks.
That made it even worse.
Yeah. But hey,
we'll talk about that.
We're almost through.
Hey, the Jaguars though competing with your one of your playoff the 3 NFC East teams apparently that you think is going to happen.
He's talking about the Giants.
I'm just saying they competed with the Commanders, so is that a good? Jaguars on the rise.
Oh yeah,
I'm the one that said the
Jags on the rise.
You fucking had them winning it.
Jags on the rise. Yeah, you're fucking division winner.
Bullshit.
Hey, Jags, y'all are doing all the right things, baby. Doing all the right things.
Jacksonville. You're doing good. You're doing okay. You'll get a lot better through the year.
Apparently Robinson isn't going to get a bulk of the carries anymore.
Travis Etienne's a fucking scrub. Etienne's a scrub. That's how I feel.
We'll see.
All right, moving on. Last game of the 1 o'clock window.
The best team in the NFC East.
Last game of the 1 o'clock window. New York Giants at Tennessee. New York Giants pull that motherfucker out because their coach has the biggest iron sack of balls in the entire NFL.
Big balls.
Big fucking sack. Big meaty ball sack with fucking steel balls. Brian Daboll, man.
I hate the Giants.
I fucking hate the Giants as well.
I love that guy.
I was talking shit about him too. I'm like, there's going to be a
massive sack. And they have Kenny Galladay, who's a fucking scrub, and they still win that game. How does Tennessee go from the number 1 seed in the AFC to losing to the Giants?
Let's not overreact. It's one game.
Doesn't matter.
But the Titans did look bad. Derrick Henry has to be...
It's not an overreaction when a team that should win loses.
This was influenced by the kickers,
this too. This isn't an overreaction. There's no way the Titans should have lost this game.
That's fair.
And they fucking did.
Well, they got Saquon.
Saquon's on a revenge tour, man.
Man. They had an 84% chance to win going into the final 2 minutes, by the way. The Titans did. They were like, oh, yeah, they're going to score a touchdown. They're going to go in overtime.
Derrick Henry got
bitch.
Decleated.
I'm going for 2, motherfucker.
Got fucking decleated.
Daniel Jones had a 26 QBR, 5 sacks. He fumbled fucking every sack. Every time.
Hey, is he the worst starter in the league? Is Danny Dimes the worst starter right now?
Absolutely.
Can you think of someone who's worse?
Well, no, Joe Flacco.
Okay.
No,
starter. Zach Wilson, you would consider a starter. They do not have someone to come in and replace him right now.
No, I don't.
Well, they have Tyrod Taylor.
I mean, you think he's better than?
I think Tyrod's better than Daniel Jones.
Very
That's
close.
Not even. I actually don't think it's close because I think Tyrod could be around 24th best.
I mean, you could argue Geno. I know the game he had.
Hey, I don't think he can anymore.
It's one game. I mean,
You know,
close,
He
but
showed
that's
more
not
promise than Daniel Jones ever has.
I don't count people
agree.
like Geno just because if they had like a for sure quarterback, he'd be starting.
He's starting. Geno's starting.
Well, yeah,
He's
because
on the
they don't
next
have a for sure
week one starter,
quarterback.
bam.
They don't have a for sure quarterback. That's what I'm saying. But if they did,
That's what
Geno
they're
would
stuck
be
with. They're still a
starting.
starter in the NFL.
Yeah,
Daniel
but I
Jones
don't-
is still starting up for your team, which
The thing with the
They've got-
No,
Giants,
Daniel's that's what I'm saying. Daniel's a for sure starter. Like they
Yeah.
don't have.
so was Jimmy G. I guess you
Anybody.
could argue if they went and got Jimmy G.
that was
the
an
Giants
argument.
team's looking pretty scary.
That's one of the teams they were considering. Like maybe we should send him to the Giants. You know, but the thing about the Giants,
Oh,
the thing about the Giants in this game, the only takeaway I have is that if they can run the ball this fucking well all season, they're gonna be tough because they had 32 carries total across every player.
How long do you
For
think until they
238
just
yards.
load the box though?
Hey, AP got 8 every
Best rushing
fucking
teams in
game,
the
and
NFL
he-
last
Is
year. They
Saquon
couldn't
AP,
stop it.
though?
Jonathan
It looks like
Taylor went
AP.
off.
Hey, Odell said he's one of the best ever put on cleats, and I believe Odell. I'm big on
What do
Saquon.
I know
Man,
more than Odell?
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Fuck, you know.
I,
Talk about one of the
hilarious.
best athletes ever.
Hey, the Titans though. Everybody was down on the Titans. What was their record last year? What they finished with?
they won
no
the
one-
division.
they were 12 and 5.
No one-
12 and 5.
No one would have thought they were finished like that. I would assume so.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's week one.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get too over on this one, but
Yeah.
Great win for the Giants.
All right, let's
in a very shitty division.
Let's
Great
keep
win for
rolling.
the Giants.
Giants won that game 21-20. We'll move on to the 425 games, starting with a division matchup between Green Bay and Minnesota. This is in Minnesota. Minnesota wins 23-7.
Dude, I watched this game,
Dude,
so I'm going to
game,
take the
man.
lead on this.
that's fine. Go ahead.
dude,
This game.
it was so.
This may be biased, but in my opinion, the best player of the weekend played in this game is
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, without a
Most
doubt.
people
No
agree.
fucking doubt.
There's
Most
no,
people agree.
If,
No doubt.
if you want to say Josh Allen just for what he did,
Well, Mahomes
or
too,
Patrick
'cause he
Mahomes,
has
I'm
5
okay with
touchdowns.
that.
Yeah, that's the 3.
This was the best player of the fucking weekend,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
He's making
He's
making all pro players look
all
like
pro
fucking
players look
idiots,
retarded,
looking stupid.
it wasn't close. If this is the pass heavy offense, then I am right about him winning the Triple Crown. I mean, he's
I think I'd be right about that 5,000 yards.
Dude, they looked
about it.
amazing. The defense looked better than it ever has been.
Yeah.
And I'll get to no, dude, that defense was great. Trust me. They had Rodgers. The back end had an easy game because their receivers sucked. But
Yeah, that's more of an indictment on the
that front, Zadarius Smith, Daniil Hunter, they were in his ass every play. This looked like a team that can, like, just off of this alone, this may be an overreaction. This team can compete for a Super Bowl.
You think Smith plays like that every week, or is it more of a revenge game? Like fuck the Packers, I'm going to get.
Whether he plays like that or not, Daniil Hunter is going to play like that, and he was amazing. That Justin Jefferson's going to play
They got
like that.
Zadarius Smith,
They were
too.
able to run the ball with Mattinson and Dalvin Cook when they needed to.
Here's Darius Smith. Their corners are pretty decent. Like
Harrison's still in the back.
This is the
Harrison
best.
Smith. They still have. I mean, they still have.
This is the year
Eric
for the
Kendricks.
Vikings.
They've
This
got
is
Eric
the year for
Kendricks.
the Vikings. Now, let me get to the other side.
Yeah.
Because I want to grill the other side. Your fucking defense, you put all this goddamn money into, got fucking shredded. Draft pick after draft.
First-round draft picks
Let's
on the
give
defense they
Devondre
have?
Campbell his fucking
Fuck
bill. Let's
me.
give Rasul Douglas his shit. They fucking sucked.
Let's sign.
You
Let's
got-
sign.
I'm
Rasul-
sorry. Justin Jefferson's that dude. I
What
understand
about Jair Alexander?
Player talking about, I don't know why they didn't let me fucking travel with them. Because you got cooked when you were on them. No, I'm not fucking doing this.
He's doing that to
And
literally
then-
everybody in the league. So let's not act like Jair still isn't great, but he got.
Hey,
fucking
Roger
cooked in
said
that game.
best player in the game right now after the game.
Yeah.
After that, and
He's- he-
like I said,
that-
I'm sure we
He
don't
was
more
my best
than
player.
Aaron Rodgers.
I may be biased. He was my best player of the weekend.
most people say
I
he's-
didn't.
He's like the
I don't know
first
how it's
shire
biased.
hit
I just
on fantasy too.
I
They're
think
like you
it's
can't miss
undeniable.
with drafting Jefferson.
Yeah, well,
He's like the
undeniable.
one for sure.
I don't even want to look at.
First round, bam.
I watched the game because it was the fucking Chiefs game was non-competitive, so I was just like barely looking at that. The fucking Chargers and the Chargers and Raiders was a
yeah.
good game, but dude, now this is what you wanted, Rodgers. You got your team friendly deal. Now you don't have your fucking Devontae. I'm not listening. I'm
He
not
wasn't
listening
coming
to
back.
him.
I don't want to hear that shit.
Well, neither one of those guys got a win in, in their first game with
Yeah,
their
but
team.
one
They played the Chargers, though.
clearly played better than the other.
For sure, yeah.
Devontae clearly played better.
Devontae looks like Devontae.
The receiving
Played
core,
great.
Aaron played.
Christian Watson dropped 2.
Well, that's what I was saying. Aaron played all right for what he did.
Yeah, people were calling for him to get cut. They're like, nobody else would have dropped that in this league.
He dropped a.
He should have. It was bad.
What the very first play of the game, he dropped a touchdown pass. If they go up 7-0, the game's very.
But this is what you got.
I hate the pass.
This is what you got.
Completely different.
This is a product of you taking so long to sign your deal.
I get it.
We can't go out and get anybody because we don't know if you're going to be here, which means we can't fucking bring anybody
How's
here.
Sammy Watkins treating you?
He didn't play.
They keep talking about.
He was.
I'm just saying, like,
shit can.
this is the guy you're putting all your chips in or all your eggs in the same basket for, and you could have re-signed probably the best receiver to ever play for the Packers ever. And that's crazy company. You've got Sterling Sharp, you've got fucking
Julio's
you've got Jordy Nelson, you've got Randall Cobb, who was great for them still. Yeah. Donald Driver,
their
James
best
Jones.
receiver.
There's been great receivers there.
Was AJ Dillon. That was their best receiver over the weekend.
It's
was
pathetic.
AJ Dillon.
AJ
Dillon was their best fucking player.
Which is what we all expected.
I expected exactly. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon going to get a lot of.
I just.
Talking about lowest teams in the NFL in terms of their offense, if Green Bay's at the bottom of the list, I would not be fucking surprised.
Right, so this is
fucking
talking about overreaction. Their fucking receiving core is so pathetic.
Their receiving core is bad, but
terrible.
Robert Tonyan was still Robert Tonyan, and Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon were still AJ Dillon.
Week 1, and now he's saying the Packers going to be the bottom.
About the final predictions at this point, for the record.
They're not 7-7.
That's what you just said. You said I
had them
don't
at 10-7.
expect them to be great. You saw the Packers, right?
Yes, but this is what I was trying to get at with the whole, like, if that touchdown scores right off the rip, they're able to just run the ball a lot more because they're up.
Yeah,
and they weren't able to do that because they're playing catch up this whole
They
game.
were literally
the
behind the whole
receivers
game.
Can't catch. That's a bad combo. If they don't score early, this team will lose.
they
a lot
have
of
no
games.
big play capability.
But
Zero
I don't,
big play capability.
Here is where. All right, if we're talking about teams with bad receiving cores, here's where I will give us the fair over them is they have Rodgers. Rodgers has to get that done. I don't give a fuck about
He put it where he was supposed to. Yeah,
You watched the game, man.
I did, and he was under duress. And the second that he got sacked, the second that Christian Watson dropped that ball, he was out of the game. He did not want to be there.
He was in his own head.
He was
you
like,
all are overreacting.
no, dude, watch it.
Really
he was.
Did you expect him to beat the Vikings?
I expected.
I'm pretty
he
sure
was favored.
Did
They
you
were
did you
favored.
still think they were going to win that game?
I personally probably think I took the Vikings.
He's
Well, wait, where
dominating-
were they at?
They were.
I don't know. I think they
Were they in Green Bay?
All of us had them losing.
No, they were in Minnesota.
Then I probably had, but not like that. Nothing they did look good.
Also,
other than AJ Dillon and to Robert Tonyan, nothing they did look
Offensively,
good. Defense, terrible.
They were pathetic.
Last year they only put up 3 points game 1. They weren't
Against the Saints, who has a
They
great
had
defense.
Devontae Adams though.
Yeah, they did.
did this
They
Devontae.
don't have Devontae. They
Thank
don't
you for bringing
have.
that up.
Yeah,
This
come
is
on. I'm not overreacting.
okay.
I just
So
think they're gonna have
The
a lot
three
of-
lowest scoring teams of the weekend were the Packers, my Cowboys, and your fucking Patriots.
Yeah.
So
listen,
we
listen,
okay.
listen,
Chill.
listen, listen.
They're going to get better. But the problem is I think that if they don't score early, and if you have players dropping balls like they're going to, if they don't score early, I think they're going to lose late.
yeah, because then they can
That's
key on
how I feel
AJ and Aaron and be like,
I'll temper
where they're
my
going.
rhetoric around the team. I think that may be a clear-headed way to go back because you fucking
I
hate
hate
it.
them.
You hate the
I
team.
hate them.
But to me,
The only player I
they're
like is
making
Aaron
more
Jones.
and more mistakes offensively, and they don't
They
have
look
experience
bad.
there.
The positions that were supposed to be good looked bad.
This shit is not going to
They
get
still
better.
got y'all like 7th on the power rankings, so
Yeah,
This
Like
shit is
everyone
not going
else
to get
is
better
just
overnight.
so
It's going to
it'll be
take like 5-6 games for this team is like gelling offensively.
RELA.
Let's move the fuck on from the
We
Packers.
gotta
They got
move through
destroyed.
these last
So,
games.
all right, second game of the afternoon window. We got Kansas City at Arizona. We don't really have to talk about this
Blowout.
team too much.
Patrick Mahomes looked like
Kansas City wins 41.
Came out to make a statement. MVP
Yeah.
caliber game.
Kansas City wins 44.
With his new weapons, his number one receiver, he showed I'm
This
still
is
that guy.
that's where I was going with. These are the games where the people who lost somebody were supposed to show that they didn't need them. Rodgers didn't do that. Fucking what's his name did. Mahomes did.
What's his name?
What's his name?
I'm sorry. It was just blanking.
Blasphemy.
It was just blanking. In my head.
Motherfucker threw 5 touchdowns. God
Mahomes,
damn.
I don't want to be like this because I don't want to overreact. But he almost the offense almost looked like it flowed better.
Yeah, it was
They were spreading the fucking ball.
We're
out.
stopping right now. This motherfucker, PFF, you need to change your fucking formula.
What was he, 6 or 7? 71?
How the fuck does Patrick Mahomes have a 71 out of 100 on your grading scale? How is Jalen Hurts? I love Jalen Hurts.
He was making Sky Moore look
Giants, bitch.
like Sky Moore is a rookie, and Sky Moore was stepping in and like making the plays I'm expecting Tyreek to make, coming over the middle, just burning people.
Bruh.
I'm like, dude, like
Nick Wright, I got your back, bro.
no,
Abolish the
fuck that.
PFF.
Don't
if they
have
can't get
Nick
this
Wright's
right,
back
you
on
cannot
anything.
keep getting Patrick Mahomes wrong. He was 30 of 39, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns. In his first game without fucking Tyreek Hill. He's the best player in the NFL. It's retarded. I'm tired of it.
Hey,
I'm so fucking tired of this shit.
Go ahead, Cody.
God.
I think the Cardinals are going to be all right, though.
No.
They still put up
Yes.
3 touchdowns.
Thank you.
James Conner's still running
bad.
the ball like he does. Wait till D-Hop gets back again.
When D-Hop gets back is when they're supposed to be bad. Also, they're still fucking feeding into it.
He's feeding into that fucking
We're still
historic
fucking feeding. No, I am.
weekend.
Because it was a fucking double XP weekend, and guess what happened? The fucking Cardinals lost. I'm fucking. This fucking. I understand they played the Chiefs, but the fucking shit is there. It was double XP weekend, and he said, "Fuck the books. I'm about to go grind this fucking growl out real quick."
Okay, you're asking an average defense to
No, I'm not-
hold Patrick.
Yeah.
They're going to score.
They're
Then you're
below
asking
average.
for a shootout.
They are below.
I'm just talking.
Allen
I'm
doesn't have
talking
his weapons.
shit.
He's
That
not gonna. They're not built right now to do that.
I have
They're
one
not.
last thing to say about this game. I feel like everyone is saying the exact same thing. Like everyone, not just us. They're saying the Chiefs looked phenomenal. The Cardinals looked awful.
Yeah.
We got to pick the mid. Like they can't. The Cardinals can't be horrible if the Chiefs are playing out of their mind. Like they can still be decent.
I mean,
Yeah.
but
I don't
two
believe
things
it.
can be
Exactly.
true.
No,
I was going to say two things.
The Rams looked horrible.
The
Like,
Rams looked horrible.
you all looked horrible, and you're pretty okay with. You think you're going to be all right? You all look fucking horrible.
I think the Cardinals
be
didn't
right.
look
Chill out.
horrible. I think Patrick Mahomes looked phenomenal.
I think
Yeah.
the Cardinals are going to be
But teams
okay.
that are supposed to be good, when they don't look good, it's different than teams that are bad and look bad. Like the Cardinals are supposed to be a team that competes. Like
they didn't have their number one receiver.
they don't
They
have
had
the-
their best player on offense.
Yeah, but D Hop wasn't even what D Hop standards were from last year, and they weren't great. Like
I don't know about that.
I still
go look
think
at
this
it.
is a lot
Go look
closer
at
with
it. D Hop was not. D Hop was not.
Okay,
D-Hop
but we'll move on. It's
They played
fucking-
a top
it
3
is-
team last
It is
night, or-
bullshit.
They did.
It's
I just
fine.
I'm
don't-
tired of
like,
PFF doing this shit, man.
They're
Patrick
not-
Mahomes being a fucking 71 for his opening weekend, it needs to stop. Chris Collinsworth, you own that shit. Get that shit fucking.
I don't
Sam
think
Monson,
we're-
all you motherfuckers over there at PFF. Get
We
your
could
shit
make-
together.
All right,
He's
we're
gonna
going to
make-
move on. So probably the best game of the week for me. I mean, these teams are really fucking good.
Yeah, the Raiders-
at the Chargers.
Yeah, Raiders to Chargers. Chargers end up winning that game 24-19.
Could have went either way. I mean, that
should have been more, in my opinion.
If Keenan Allen doesn't get hurt, it is more.
They
how I
should.
feel.
It should have been
Yeah.
more. in
that
my
Chargers
opinion.
roster
Oh
is
man,
fucking
I
stacked.
can't wait till we talk about week 2 slate
past
games
week, yeah,
because
it's
it
Thursday.
has
They
a lot to say
they
about
had-
the Chargers.
They had
Man.
They had decent. They
Shows a
had-
lot about the Chiefs too. Both those teams playing on a short week, going back into a divisional
Yeah.
game.
They had
Herbert looks
decent-
amazing week 1.
AFC Championship contenders.
They have really
There's like
good wide
3 of them
receivers.
we
I
saw.
don't want to I don't want to overreact, but the Raiders secondary did not look good. At
I
all.
was actually about to say the opposite.
They
I was
did
going to
not.
say everyone has said like the Raiders secondary is the biggest question. If you keep the Chargers to 24, this Chargers team is crazy. They're going to shoot out with teams,
And they have big
And-
play they have
Yeah.
big play.
I
But
think-
their
I
front
think
end-
them only
their-
scoring 24 is a good sign. For
Yeah,
the
but
Raiders.
Max Crosby kept them in the game. He
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I mean that's why they
he
signed
single
Chandler
hand.
Jones.
Yeah, but Chandler Jones didn't even do anything. Max Crosby was.
Yeah.
Max Crosby was one of the best defensive players over the entire
Yeah.
weekend. Like over the entire.
Yeah.
He played so fucking good. That game shouldn't have been close because.
They really should have
it's-
been close with 3 picks from your quarterback too.
Derek looked at times like it was like
Rush.
fuck it. Adams
Yeah.
is not even
Super
that. It's
rush.
just
It
fucking
really
Adams is
looked
over there
sloppy.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Which Derek has never looked like that.
Yeah, he looked
Derek has
sloppy.
always been a poised quarterback.
A lot more measured
He
in his
looked
throws and
sloppy in his play. He
Would you
looked-
be like that too? You got someone of that caliber. You're like,
Me
I-
Now-
He had 10
I don't know.
receptions. He had 10 receptions, 141 yards, and a touchdown.
Now
he
here,
is that
And his
dog.
debut,
I love
so-
him.
Darren Waller didn't touch it much, and neither did Hunter Renfro. And those were people who were winning you games last year. It
Security
just seemed
blankets.
it just seemed like he was very tunnel vision, and it also didn't help that Khalil Mack had 3 sacks.
Khalil Mack's that guy.
It also didn't help.
He's that guy.
It also didn't help that Joey Bosa
Bosa's playing
was
so
Joey
good.
Bosa.
He's
He
playing
played-
so
It
good,
didn't
too.
help that Derwin James was Derwin James. J.C. Jackson didn't play in that game, but
Asante Samuel Jr.
Monster. He's a future All-Pro. I don't care what anybody says. He's so good.
He ain't gonna jump. He's fat.
Why not? Anyways, yeah, I don't know, man. I think the Chargers are gonna be fire all year. With how well they play in this game, and then talk about week 2 later,
they could be a favorite.
They look
in every
crazy.
Game. Yeah. They could be a favorite in every game.
All right, let's move on to the final game of the season or of the week.
There's 2.
Yeah. Wait, what?
We have 2 more.
Oh, Monday night. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Sunday night football in Dallas. Tampa Bay at Dallas.
The only team to not fucking
Final
score.
score, Tampa Bay 19-3. Says a lot about y'all's defense. I love the Cowboys defense. Micah Parsons looks fucking
all right, here, no, that's
they get blown.
This is where I want to come in and I want to be objective. Exactly like you're saying. If Micah Parsons isn't there, they get blown the fuck out. DeMarcus Lawrence was nowhere.
If we had both our receivers, it's closer. You could argue both ways.
Dorrance Armstrong was nowhere. DeMarcus Lawrence was nowhere. Yeah. Trayvon Diggs was getting cooked. Micah Parsons might be.
Let's turn the clock back and make Julio Jones look like what he was. Let's do that. He was fucking going off, man.
So everyone,
I feel bad for Micah at that point, dude, because it was like, what do you? And then Leonard Fournette comes and just blows his ass up like a stick of dynamite. It's like, dude, what can I? Like, I imagine he was out there like, can someone help, please?
Hey,
like,
they did that because he was getting back.
Yeah,
like, they don't do that. Like, they don't send running back to chip people like that all the time.
It doesn't. I don't like. So there's 2 things I liked. One, on your defense, I love Micah. It kind of looked like you might be able to start giving Zeke those carries again. I mean, he had 5.
After they were down by so much,
he was at 5 yards a carry.
They really couldn't.
That's the problem.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay had a lot of big plays throughout the game. Chris Godwin ended up going down, but still, they were able to get Julio Jones involved.
He was at 5 yards a carry.
He had fucking over 120 yards or something on like 25 carries.
Zeke was at
incredible.
Zeke looked like you could give him the carries. Now here's where I'm going to go bad. I'm going to pick one from each. Trayvon Diggs is obviously not what he was last year. I think anybody who knows
exactly like y'all
just wait. He's gonna get them picks, and everybody's gonna forget.
He's not. No,
he's risky for the.
He's not having another 11.
It's hard
pick
to
year.
Be what you were when you're.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't even want to
so much better.
I don't even want to compare him to that because
going into the game last year when they played Tampa Bay in Week 1 was Chris Godwin there. Like he was having to cover fucking like Scotty Miller and shit.
Here is my next thing. You gave your number 1 receiver that you moved the books for. You got rid of Amari, who got Dak his contract. It was a fucking
over the weekend.
It was this. You gave him 12 targets, and he didn't. And he did what with it?
Oh my god! Are we doing this?
So this is what I want to say.
Yes,
and this was my.
We are doing this because all the number 1 receivers over the weekend did what they were supposed to do, except CD.
Are you okay?
This is how I'm gonna. This is how I react to this.
Yeah.
Right. Leading up into the game, I couldn't believe how many players were out for the Cowboys. There were so many injuries.
Number 2 receiver, 3 receiver, our fucking offensive lineman.
Going into the season, they're easily the most injured team in the NFL.
Yeah, they are what the Ravens were last year.
Yeah,
going
and it's
into this
pretty
season.
bad.
And because of that, they got even more hurt during this game.
Yeah.
I don't expect much from the Cowboys because of that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think they were as bad as everyone is reacting. I think Micah Parsons is that guy. I think everyone knew it, and he showed it.
They held Tampa Bay to 19 points. Who's going to be one of the best offenses in the NFL?
Yeah.
If Dallas can get their offense going, they are going to look a lot better.
I think that this is the most overreacting that I think people are having week 1. I think the Cowboys aren't awful like people think. I think that they're just a little lackluster.
Let's have him do a spiel on CD, and then you get the final word because it's your favorite team.
That's fine.
That's how I
had to do a spiel.
It ain't gonna be my
he
favorite
had 11
team.
targets and brought 2 of them in.
I know you're going to look at it objectively,
right.
but this is a team that has a lot of problems, and
he had 11. He had 11 targets and he brought 2 of them in for 29 yards. That's every other wide receiver. Every other number 1 wide receiver did their thing.
Was that team also missing their number 2 and 3 where he was
that's even more of a reason that CD should have stepped up because you didn't have anybody.
I don't agree at all.
How? Because if you were that guy already, they believed that he was that guy enough to move a ball.
I could be that guy. You put 3 fucking people on me, or every play they know it's probably going to me or Schultz. What do you expect?
How, and then immediately started talking. We'll explain how is if you're missing the 2 and 3, you're the main guy. You're going to get.
If you're that guy,
well, they've got Todd Bowles. That's their.
I'm not
head
saying
coach.
that CD's going to be a fucking bottom 25 receiver, but this top 10 fantasy wide receiver shit, that's where I am bucking. He is not
after 1 week. Like it's one of the
best.
Well,
now you don't have Dak.
That's the thing.
Now you're out Dak for fucking 4 or 5
years. That's a fair thing to say. But like Cooper's going to probably be.
Cooper can sling
he's
it.
He's going to be going to CD a lot.
We're talking about Cooper Run.
I know.
Like we're not doing. I'm not doing this shit that Skip is doing.
Do you remember the last time
Cooper Rush is not?
got in?
I don't give a fuck. Cooper Rush is not better than
CD
Dak.
had 112 receiving yards and he had like 9 catches. So
watch how far Cooper takes you for the next 4 to 5 games because you're not. It's not going to be.
Let's give Cody a final word. We'll move on.
We're probably going to win more games than the Patriots. We'll
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, okay.
Even with Cooper Rush being out or being the.
I don't know. My biggest.
They were a team that didn't change. They didn't get any better. They were worse on offense because last year they were the best offense. They were worse on offense. Their defense didn't look good outside of Micah Parsons. They're still one of the most penalized teams in the league, and now you lose your quarterback for 4 to 5
didn't
weeks.
Look good, but it's Tampa Bay who was top 5.
They
in offense.
competed with Tampa Bay last year in that game.
They competed, bro. With this many injuries and they only lose by 16.
I don't think
it's not just the injuries.
Listen. If they go into the game with the amount of injuries they had before, like if they go into the game with the injuries they have now before, the spread is the biggest spread ever put into a game. Like they are 17-point underdogs.
Even if they went in with
saying.
everybody, did we not collectively agree that this roster got worse over the offseason? They lost more than they gained.
Yeah.
But like you said, everyone expected them to lose anyway.
Yeah,
and they kept it close.
So
it's
the margin there, like,
regardless. So I mean,
if Amari and like all the players they lose, all the players they don't have going into the game, if they are costing a team, because they only lost by 2 last year, it was like 29-31. It's a 16-point deficit. Like I don't know. I think their defense holding this team to 19 points. That's crazy
because of Micah alone.
Nothing changes for me.
Yeah, Brady was under duress. He doesn't look. I mean, there's not as much zip on the body.
When Brady wasn't
they
even,
have a lot of injuries
Brady
too.
wasn't even like, oh my god, that's Brady. Like Brady was very average because they fucking ran the ball so well. That's another thing. Is like, are y'all going to be able to stop the run all year? Like, if you can't,
that was their issues going in. That's what I'm.
I just feel bad because I didn't see from the defense I didn't see outside of Micah anything that was like wow. Like they have.
Sometimes that's all you need. Like not to be like championship contender, but like one player can make up for a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when
but a team like Dallas, who is supposed to contend every year, who is projected to contend every year, this isn't like we're taking like we're like.
Their
I'd
schedule.
like to speak on them a little bit.
Yeah,
I haven't really understood much about them. But
Yeah.
go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
Like no, I'm just saying like this like teams it's like teams that are supposed to compete we're not making concessions for them because they kept it close. Like Dallas every year is a team set to compete.
Disregarding the injuries. You're disregarding how well they played on defense.
But you'll keep it close for like the Raiders. Like you'll pull shit out for the Titans saying, they
no, I don't think the Titans look good either.
But you'll pull concessions out for
I also had the
these
Titans
teams keeping it close,
that.
but you won't.
How do you feel about San Francisco?
San
How do you feel about the
Francisco?
teams that lost at close margins, but they...
You want to know how I feel about San Francisco? We'll get to how I feel
I'm just
about
saying,
San
like,
Francisco.
we got to keep it consistent.
I'm
Dallas
keeping it consistent. How am I not keeping it consistent?
Again, I want to hear Cody, and then let's move on because we've been.
It looked like a lot of Micah or bust.
We're really far into this.
No one really expected us to win. We're down. We're injured. Mm-hmm. It's the same shit you all were just reiterating.
Yep.
It's just relax.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's one
You
way.
can say it all I wanted, but
is scary. That's the one thing for me.
Yeah.
Cooper Rush knows the system. I don't think we're going to go out and get anybody, but he can sling it too. I mean, it's just about holding down the fort till Dad gets back. Just same shit.
And that's going to be tough considerably because you're playing Bengals this week, and then you've got a couple of pretty tough NFC matchups.
Mike is going to get to him.
Yeah.
For fucking sure.
If Dak can come back in like 4 weeks, I think.
But is he going to be enough to beat them? That's the thing.
We'll get into week 2 in just a second.
All right, let's move on to Denver at Seattle. Monday Night Football. Seattle actually pulls off the upset, 17-16.
This is the Super Bowl for Seattle. This is everything that they wanted. There's no game that matters more to Seattle.
Yeah, but think about the momentum they gained just by beating this team. What they could possibly do. Because
here we go. What momentum?
Yeah, I think it's over.
For what?
You don't think
I think this was the Super Bowl for them. This was the most important game of the entire year.
They can't match this performance? They can't match this performance against like Arizona or something? I'm not saying like because 17 points. That's if you match that performance, that's average, below average. But like Geno Smith didn't look bad. I don't think he cost them anything.
He looked amazing.
I think the biggest storyline about this game is Nathaniel Hackett not trusting Russell at the end of the game.
It's his first game.
Doesn't matter.
I'm not overreacting to someone's first.
You need to take
coaching game.
Alvin out of your lineup.
Is he hurt?
Yeah, he's out.
Oh, motherfucker.
Alvin's out, and so is Julio.
But yeah, This didn't impress me as much as I think it did others. I just think that Seattle needed this win more than Denver did. And there we go. Seattle wins their Super Bowl. They're going to be a horrible team the rest of the year. And Denver's going to get a lot better. And everything's going to be forgettable except for Pete Carroll, who is now...
I think the emotions...
The one thing I want to take away from this game is... In my opinion, that Broncos defense did not look anywhere near.
Not great.
Well, Bradley Chubb didn't look good. They didn't have a push-up.
You didn't hear his name until the fourth quarter.
Randy Gregory was basic.
Yeah.
Patrick Surtain was, I would assume, him.
No, he played well.
And their running game was piss poor for the type of talent they have in the backfield, and that was what that was the biggest Devontae Williams is going to be a fucking top 5 rusher.
Is Geno Smith going to complete 82% of his passes throughout the entire season? Probably not.
We can bet on the numbers.
Is he going to have 119 QBR over the entire season? Probably not.
I think this was we get them all the time. It's like an emotion game. Everyone was high emotion. And
they were booing the fucking quarterback that won them a Super Bowl. Fucking Seattle fans, first off, you're the dumbest fucking fans in the world because you were poverty before him. He fucking comes. He wins you a Super Bowl, takes you to another one, and then he leaves, which you fucking should just let him walk for the doors and thank him for what he gave you.
They're arguing the Legion of Boom made him. And they apparently, like Pete Carroll, the way they talk about him, they don't like him very much.
I don't know why. They're not in the Super Bowl without him.
That's true.
That's
doesn't look like Denver's going to be in there with him.
So we're all talking about how the Broncos played horrible, looked horrible, didn't meet any expectations. The Seahawks played out of their mind. Phenomenal. Looked better than we ever could have expected, 1-1.
Yeah.
Like that says a lot.
I had a smile on my face most of this game just seeing Geno move around in the pocket. He has some fucking arm talent. Like he displays some arm talent.
The quote at the end. Everyone wrote me off, but I didn't write back. Let's go.
Like you said, this is his Super Bowl.
I still think, given the talent they have at receiver, DK looked phenomenal. He looked fucking physical. He looked healthy.
DK didn't do that much. He didn't do much. He had one big catch.
The catches he had were great, and they also had Tyler Lockett is Tyler Lockett. So I think Seattle has the personnel offensively to make noise, but I don't know, man. Denver they're really
like you said, the main defensive guys didn't flash and didn't really get back.
You let 30 seconds run off at the end of the game when you should have came right in and made a timeout.
Yeah, you
had problems all game getting the play in and out. There was multiple times you took fucking delay games.
Where I will have
you're breaking the huddle at 9 seconds, which if you have any fucking adjustments, it's
where I'll understand his argument. Brendan's argument is that Denver on the goal line fumbled twice.
Yes.
With fourth and 5, if they're going to go for it on 4th and 5, they still are susceptible to a devastating turnover. Yeah. Where I will push back is a 64-yard field goal. That's the second longest field goal in NFL history. You're not making that as a walk-off. It's just not happening. That's Justin Tucker. That's Evan McPherson. That's Jake Elliott because he's hit a 60-yarder. That's some of the most accurate kickers in the NFL. You get the fuck out of here. It's just... It's an embarrassing move.
He even admitted after the game. He said we probably should have went for it. So I mean, he knows.
You learn. You live and learn.
Yeah. After this game, if there's a late game situation where Russell can take over and make a play to win the game, you need to give him the ball.
How do you think Russell's feeling though, looking across the sideline, watching Pete Carroll let Geno cook? He's like, you're letting him fucking do shit that I wish you would have let me do.
Yeah, they didn't run the ball.
I had to roll out improvising. You're letting him
Rashad Penny. He didn't really get that many carries, and he didn't.
That's what they thought. They were going to have to shut him down, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, but it was DJ and Tyler Lockett. Will Disley.
Yeah, they looked at
their tight ends look fucking great.
They looked at their linebacker and said, "Their ass. We're going to throw the tight ends every single play." And they said, "All right, it works perfect."
Yeah, but all right. I guess that's the end of our discussion on Week 1 reactions.
So we're going to get these.
We're going to take a break first.
Yeah, and we're going to get into the Week 2.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to get into our Week 2 predictions. Basically, we're just going to go over the spreads of pretty much every single game. I'm going to ask everybody's opinion after I give my own, and we're just going to run through all of them. So today, because we're recording this on Sunday, we're going to give our predictions now. It'll be uploaded probably Monday, Tuesday, somewhere around there. Y'all get what we thought of the games after the fact. So Monday, or the 1 o'clock window, starting out, Indianapolis Colts versus Jacksonville. It's in Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a 3-point underdog at home.
Take that.
Oh, man.
They're going to be playing with so much confidence.
Yeah,
that's probably about right, though.
I'm actually
still going to be better. The Colts are better than the Jags.
I'm going to take Jacksonville because I think that they can be within a field goal for sure at home. Yeah, that's a tough one. What about you, Brennan?
I take the Colts.
You take the Colts?
Colts cover.
They cover?
They win by more than 3 points.
Honestly, it could end up being a push for me, but honestly, I'm just going to take Jacksonville.
I take the Colts.
What about you, Anthony?
I'd probably go Jags just because Michael Pittman's not playing.
Okay.
I'd probably take the Jags too to cover that.
Okay,
They're going to be playing with a lot of confidence.
I'm the only one.
Got me, Cody, and Anthony taking Jacksonville. Brennan taking.
I'm taking that spread. That 3 points.
And if y'all want to follow along, we're using gambling lines from DraftKings. If you want to follow along and keep track of our predictions, we probably will too.
Well, they're not going to be able to look it up by the time this goes live.
It's fine. Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the next 1 o'clock game, we got the Miami Dolphins in Baltimore against the Ravens. The Ravens are 3.5-point favorites at home.
This one's tough.
I'm actually going to take Baltimore. I think that their offense is already clicking and their defense isn't really going to. I think they can keep.
He's going to light up his future team. He's going to play for him.
Yeah, probably.
Like it on Instagram.
Yeah, probably.
So what you got, Cody?
I think Baltimore covers. I think he's going to go out and make a statement.
That 3.5 line, if it was 3, I'd definitely be on Baltimore. But 3.5 is kind of tough because I think it could be a field goal.
Do you think the Dolphins are going to cover? Is that what you said?
No, I think Baltimore covers. I'm taking Baltimore.
So at the 3.5, okay.
I'd definitely be on it if it was 3 points, for sure. But
it'd be a good game,
Brendan.
I'm gonna take Baltimore. It's really close, but I'm gonna take Baltimore.
Yeah.
I don't think this one. I think Baltimore is probably going to easily handle.
Handily.
You think they're going to handle?
Okay. Yeah.
You think they cover and they win? Okay. Well, that's good. That's good news. All right. So we got Tampa Bay on the road in New Orleans.
You said Kamara's out.
Yeah, Kamara's out.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to change probably. This
division matchup in New Orleans. New Orleans at home is a 3-point underdog. They're +3 for the Saints. I am taking Tampa Bay. I think that they've already started clicking on offense, and their defense looks
that offense is clicking.
Yeah,
it was fucking rolling.
What do you mean?
What I just said
against a really good defense. I mean,
against a really good defense
played great. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Tampa Bay -3.
Who you got, Cody?
I got him. Tampa's going to cover easy, I think. Mark Ingram. Mike Ingram might have a fucking resurgence.
After giving me pushback, fucker.
I'm gonna take the Saints. I think the Saints are gonna.
Ooh, okay.
I think the Saints are gonna win, so I'm gonna take them for this.
Even without Kamara?
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't use him last week.
He probably a little bit.
Change
Yeah, but it was against
Marky
Atlanta.
Mark's there.
Yeah.
They'll be all right.
All right.
And then who you got, Anthony? Saints are.
I mean, I wanted to say Tampa Bay covers, but I don't think they win. They haven't won since Brady's been there. They haven't beat the Saints.
More than 3 points?
I don't know. I'd probably have Tampa covering.
Okay.
But
I'm the only one again.
I don't like it.
I'm all by myself.
I'm big on the Saints.
They haven't. I mean, they haven't
that game.
They haven't beat the.
Oh my God!
Brady hasn't beat the.
This next line is so bad.
Since he's been there.
All right, next 1 o'clock game, we got Carolina in New York playing the Giants. The Giants are 1-point underdogs at home against the Panthers. I'm taking the fucking Giants. The Giants are beating the Panthers.
Fuck the Panthers.
I fucking hate the Giants, but dude, they look so fucking good. Yeah, I'm taking the Giants.
The Panthers also played really well against the Browns.
If they came on Thibodeau, man,
Panthers might put up some points on the Giants. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard.
He's going to play tonight or today.
He's slated to make his debut today.
That's awesome.
You think Baker's going to walk up into New York and just be like, I own this shit?
No, he should have walked up into his previous home and won the game.
He says he'll fuck him up. Huh?
He left the field with the lead. That's all I got to say. But
I don't care. They shouldn't have been close.
You got Carolina? Well,
no,
who you pick?
I took Giants.
Took the Giants cover or 1-point dog.
You took the Giants too? Okay, cool.
Okay,
all right,
damn,
right.
Baker hate.
All right, so this line's pretty bad. We got the Jets on the road in Cleveland. Cleveland's favored at home by 6.5. One of the biggest lines of the day.
Yeah,
I don't think
You think the Jets are going to cover
Oh, my God. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm taking Cleveland. I think they cover this. 6.5.
I was about to say, yeah.
Jets a touchdown.
Jets look fucking horrible in week 1.
They're not good. People think that they're better than us. They're fucking not.
Who
They
Jets?
They could have a starting quarterback, and they're still not better than us.
Yeah, Cleveland.
They're fucking bad.
What about you?
Myles Garrett probably gets Flacco a few
Myles
times.
Garrett, yes. Myles Garrett's going to have 3 sacks. Nick Chubb's going to rush for 200.
If we're going based
yards.
off wins or spreads, I think the Jets could cover this 6.5. But
I think it's going to be a touchdown game.
Might be.
They'd probably win by a touchdown or 2.
I think the Browns are going to win, but I think the Jets cover that 6.5.
I think we're overrating
that's kind of a
the
big
Jets.
spread.
All right, Brendan?
I'm going to go Cleveland here. I just don't believe in Flacco. If it was Zach, I'd take this easy.
The 6.5.
Easy.
So you think the Browns are going to cover that 6.5 easy?
6.5 points in the NFL is a lot. 6.5 is a lot
That's
of
a
points.
touchdown, though. I think that's very doable.
But how many games come
Nick
within
Chubb
a-
rushed
come
for
within a field goal?
144 yards again. It's over. They win by 2 touchdowns.
So you're taking Cleveland.
Cleveland's going to cover.
Flacco's seen this Browns team a lot.
You both took the Jets.
You don't
Or you
think?
took Cleveland.
I don't give a fuck about Flacco
I
just
hate
as much
Flacco.
as I don't give a fuck about Zach Wilson.
All right.
They're the same person to me.
Yep.
You win the same amount of games, either one starting. No. You cannot convince me otherwise.
No fucking
because Flacco's been to a Super Bowl.
You'll see the you'll be convinced.
So is Trent Dilfer, man. It's the same shit.
All right, we're moving on from that because this fucking line, dude.
This is easy.
This fucking line. This line is so fucking bad. I think personally,
this line is fine.
So 1 o'clock matchup: New England Patriots in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is 3-point underdogs.
I think Steelers easy.
That is not even a fucking question, and it's been bet up. It was 2.5 at one point.
Yeah, I think the Steelers.
Yeah. Yes.
We'll see.
Najee is playing, so
we'll see.
He's
I mean, yeah, I like Najee, but it's just going to be a team of whose strength is going to overtake because neither of these offenses are great. So it's a matter of whose defense is going to play better.
Yeah.
And if I had to bet on it, I probably want to go Steelers.
What this means is that in New England, it would be a 6-point spread in favor of New England. If it was in New England, that's what this means.
Yeah, no.
They think that New England is a touchdown better at home against Pittsburgh. That is stupid as fuck.
Well, it's because of the quarterback situation. Because I don't think they believe in Mitch or.
Well, Mac's hurt, isn't he? He's a question
Mac had
play
a back.
this week.
Mac had a back injury at the end of the Dolphins game, and he missed practice because of an illness this week.
So
but it was
playing,
only one
right?
game.
Is Mac good?
Mac's gonna be fine. The fucking line for the fucking Panthers just did some shit.
It was the money line. We're good.
So are you taking Patriots?
They're favored, 3-point favorites.
Basically, if you think they're going to win, you have them.
You might be the only one.
That's how I feel.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm kind of leaning towards the Patriots, to be honest.
Wow.
I think they kind of exposed from what they did last week. The Patriots are going to lock up. Yeah, I might actually think Vegas.
If we're going cover 3-point spread though on the road,
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot of the same game plan from both teams. We're both going to run the ball heavy because our quarterbacks. I'm not even going to say our quarterbacks. We don't have the receiving core, and they don't have the quarterback that can keep up with their receiving core. And it's going to be a lot of defensive games. Now, if I'm going off of that, I think we cover.
Yeah, I'll go bold prediction. I don't think either one of these teams score a touchdown.
Really?
I didn't see that. I could very well see this being just a field goal.
I don't think either team scores a touchdown.
After seeing what the Steelers did to the Bengals, and now they're a dog at home.
I'm not doing this. What the Steelers did to the Bengals, they had everything go right for them, and they barely won.
It's in Pittsburgh.
It shouldn't have been.
So, are you taking the Steelers?
No.
Okay, you say all that, and then you don't take the Steelers.
I mean, I don't.
You two are taking the Patriots. We're taking the.
I don't think it's
this is the easiest one so far.
It's really not. But the thing is, sharps are going to be betting on New England because I don't know why. Like, there's really no.
I think y'all
explanation.
got kind of like a fog in your face from what they did to the Bengals, but
no,
I think it's more.
I just know what.
Just personally, yeah.
I'm not a fan of.
I just think they're better than the Patriots.
I'm not a fan of either
Are
one.
you
of
taking
teams,
the Pats?
but I know what the fucking line looks like.
The Pats? Okay. To cover the 3.
So you all have the Pats. We have the Steelers. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next game. Washington Commanders. This is crazy to me. Detroit gets two home games in a row against the NFC East teams. Mm-hmm. And the point spread is
1 point.
Detroit is an underdog to the Commanders at home by 1 point. I'm taking Washington. Probably going to take Washington in this.
Yeah, who do you got winning?
No. I'm taking it back. I'm going Detroit. I think Detroit wins this game.
You know, it's funny if we had our predictions for the year pulled up, and then what we're seeing now,
it
would be.
I think I had. the Commanders winning this game.
Yeah, you have to, but it would be funny. Like,
I had the Commanders starting out 2-0 for sure because
this one wouldn't change for me. I'm taking Washington still.
Really?
Okay.
Interesting. I'm taking Detroit. What about you?
Come on,
just a 1-point favorite.
Yeah.
Who's winning this game?
Detroit's winning.
It's basically
the Commanders are going to win.
Let's go.
They're just not going to pull it out.
Watch it be a tie.
This will be a game. This will be a game where
we're right there. Fuck! Like it's gonna. I feel it's gonna happen.
This is gonna be the game that everyone on Twitter is like, "Why the fuck did we go get Carson? Why the fuck did we do this? Why the fuck did we do that?"
You think so?
Lions are winning.
You think Lions are gonna expose them like that?
Winning. I just think
former
the Lions
first round
picks win
this
game,
going off against
they're
each
gonna
other.
say that if the Redskins are gonna say that about Carson if they lose any game that they
even
should.
after he looked really well,
the Carson,
like,
the
played
Commanders
really well last
should.
week.
The Commanders should beat the Lions, but they're not going to, and the Commanders fans in turn are going to be like, "Why the fuck do we have?"
You could argue that they should have, after the way they played against the Eagles, that they should win handily.
I think Detroit's going to win.
And at home,
I think Detroit's going to win.
So Anthony and I have Detroit. You have Washington. Do you have
I'll
Washington?
take the Commanders.
He's got Washington as well. All right, moving on to the 4:00 window. We've got Atlanta on the road against the Rams.
This is a big.
Woo! The Rams are favored by 10. I'm taking Atlanta.
This is tough.
I'm taking Atlanta. 10 points. 10 points. Not to cover, but to cover 10 points. That's a lot of fucking points in the NFL. I'm taking Atlanta. Anytime you get a spread this fucking big, it's really tough to put money down on one of them.
If it's 10 points, you should always take the 10-point spread. I'm actually going to go Rams here. Their defensive line's not going to get through like the Bills, and they're going to eat them up. I really think the Rams are about to show out. I'm going to take the Rams. 10 points.
They covered 10
points.
10 points.
I'm taking Rams.
At 10?
Yeah.
Are you with me on this?
To cover the spread.
It's
10
crazy.
points?
No,
That's happening.
That's a lot of fucking points.
Kyle Pitts maybe finds the end zone, keeps it close, and that's a lot of points.
It's a lot. That's the only thing.
What's Kyle Pitts going to do when he's getting chased by fucking Jalen Ramsey all game and Marcus Mariota doesn't have 200 yards?
Jalen got torched, so I'm not worried
Take the
about
dog. You got to take the dog.
I mean, you got to take it because it's a smart bet, but
You're not?
Rams are. I'm taking Rams. Rams are coming off a loss. They need to make a statement. The Falcons actually kind of looked decent last week. I think this is the game where they're kind of like.
I don't think Atlanta wins. I think that they cover a 10-point spread, though.
No, I get that.
Like, if we were picking games, like, I could say.
I could very well see this being a 2-3 touchdown.
Yeah, the Rams could easily come out and just be like,
Cooper Kupp could do what he does every game, and they're out of it. Like, it's
true. It really could. I just think 10 points is too much. Too much.
Well, yeah,
look
it's
at the next game.
not
All
a
these
smart
spreads are
bet.
getting kind of crazy.
Who do you pick?
I'm going to take the Rams to cover, actually.
I'm the only one that.
I'm going to take.
I'm taking the dog to cover, not to win. They're not beating the Rams.
You're taking a smart pick.
Yeah. Okay, so next 4 o'clock game, we've got Seattle on the road in San Francisco. San Francisco, this is another big line.
This fucking line.
I'm taking the dog. It's 8.5 points. 49ers are favored by 8.5 points at home.
I mean, I didn't do that against
Seattle.
the Broncos either, so I mean, what the fuck?
I'm taking Seattle to
Seattle's
cover.
covering.
So 2 Seattle.
So I wouldn't.
I know we got two Rams. Two 49ers here.
I would not be surprised if some shit happens and Seattle wins this game.
Hey, we're in sunny
It's
California
not gonna
right
happen.
now.
This is a stay away. Like, if I were betting on all these lines, this is one where
Seattle's making me stay away from. Okay,
I love this.
because it really could go either way.
Yeah,
but
I think this is an easy. This might be the easiest one.
I think 49ers win.
49ers
going to win.
This is the
They don't
statement
cover.
game. This is a statement game. 49ers.
So you and I have Seattle 8.5.
Seattle's covering.
I got 49ers.
They're not smacking them, and we're not smacking them, and we're going to come into the same questions next week that we had this week.
Trey Lance looked good,
The
but he
Niners
didn't really
are winning
dominate.
that easy. I think this is an easy bet.
We'll
The
see.
Niners are
go.
covering.
Okay, all
That was
right,
easy.
alrighty.
We're back home. Trey Lance has been making it rain. He's gonna make it rain at home now. Like after making it all the fucking monsoon in Chicago and stuff.
He
He's
did nothing week 1.
All right.
in a monsoon. He's at home in California. He'll be just fine.
Hey,
This game could get
Seattle easily covers.
hey,
Just like you easily cover this next one. The Cowboys easily cover this.
He might
if
be
Micah
right.
plays like he did last
all
week,
right.
Cowboys
Here we go.
cover.
425. Cincinnati on the road in Dallas. Dallas are 7.5 point underdogs.
Cooper Rush will keep it closer.
I think they cover.
I think they'll cover.
I think Dallas.
Like you are coping. I don't feel like you believe in Cooper Rush.
I just watched Joe Burrow get fucking annihilated. That gives me confidence with Mike.
Yeah, but they were also in the Super Bowl last year.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas
we're also at home, which we don't play great at home, but we'll be all right.
Exactly.
Does Dallas get like 4 sacks in this game? I think so. I think Burrow's about to be the most sacked quarterback for the first couple of weeks. So I do have them covered.
How much does this change with Dak if he was starting? I mean, really.
You have Dallas?
I think they cover, yes.
Yeah, 7.5.
So I think if they're, I couldn't find it real quick.
Yeah.
Whatever the money line is on how many sacks Micah Parsons is, I'm taking the over. I think he is going to blow it up. Mm-hmm. But I think Bengals, same reason I think a lot of these players that if they had a bad game and they're good, this is their statement.
We should probably also pick our winners. I think
Bengals win and they cover.
If this is the
Bengals
statement
win.
game for the Bengals,
Bengals win,
then
they
this
don't
is
cover.
bad for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Because
Losing, I mean, if you lose...
You're losing to the AFC champion.
If you lose to the Bucs and the Bengals, I'm not like, well, that's a bad...
Well, no, I'm not
like,
saying it's bad for the Cowboys in that sense.
Sure.
I'm just saying in the sense that if this is the game that the Bengals are going to make a statement in, they might run the fuck up. Like,
So
because they are that volatile of an offense where it's like, you fucking let them get a rhythm early, you're in for it all game.
You think
Jamar Chase is all over you.
Over under on Joe Mixon, 100 yards.
Over
under.
Over.
Is that all he's projected?
No, I'm just asking.
No, there's no way he's even
if that's what
projected
it's
100.
Pure
Not the
rushing
over
yards?
under.
No.
His over under isn't going to.
I'm saying if you were
but
given,
I think he goes over.
If you were given odds at 100 yards, does he go over?
He's better than Lenny Football, and Lenny Football ran all over them. So
yeah, I think he goes over.
Joe goes over.
I still think that Trayvon Diggs will probably have a decent game. I don't think that Jamar's going to go.
The thing that sucks
crazy.
about Diggs
Hopefully
is he now
crazy.
has to guard the number. Like he has no choice. He has to guard the number one receiver every time.
Yeah.
So if he does, like it's just so hard for him. But
they also didn't have a pass rush like Micah, and they still got to him like they did. So
you have
TJ Watt. I mean, he got hurt, but still.
I was going to say,
I think they'll cover.
So y'all have the Bengals covering. We have Dallas covering. I have Dallas losing. Do you have Dallas losing?
Yeah.
Do you think
I
Dallas
have Dallas covering though?
It's
You have
sense.
Dallas covering?
I think it's going to be. I think Dallas is still going to lose, but 7.5 points.
Okay.
They're not going to.
So I'm going with the Bengals.
Okay, that's fine.
It'll probably be
But
a close
that's
game.
tough.
We think
That's tough.
y'all lose. I don't know. I think
They're not beating
with
the
the injuries and shit. I think Cowboys.
I didn't think Steelers would beat him either, but
Yeah, that's fair.
True.
But I think this, if we're talking about straight defense, Steelers have a better defense.
Even without Dak, I think
for sure.
That's the thing that really made the difference for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Steelers was the defense.
Yeah.
I don't think you have as a whole enough.
Is the
Micah
offensive line
gonna
better
wreck
than the
shop.
Bucks though?
Huh?
You think the offensive line of the Bengals is better than the Bucks, or they should be on paper?
No, I thought I'm
No.
surprised about how bad the Bucks offensive line looked.
Really?
They should have.
Well, they were hurt.
I hope they play better, or Micah's going to be back there chewing.
This one's a 41.5.
I'm just afraid Mike.
Over under.
Yeah, it's 42 for me.
That's
but,
go under.
They're going under.
Well,
Go under.
I mean, Cooper Rush can come out and actually
42
sling it.
though.
But we're also still down our receivers, so I mean, I think Zeke's going to get a big bulk of the carries this week.
Go
He's gonna
under
be featured.
that.
If they can
If
get
it's
Tony
over-
Pollard, they can get Tony Pollard in the game plan.
Tony Pollard's not. He's not. He was a liability last
We need
game.
to keep going though.
3 touchdowns each team, kind of. Yeah, I don't see that happening. I'll take the under on that.
Do you have Dallas winning? No.
Yes, I'm going to take winning.
You haven't beaten the Bengals?
Yeah,
Okay.
just to be,
That's fine.
just to be a little biased.
All right.
I think they cover for sure. Just
Yeah.
fuck the Bengals.
I think they covered.
Let's move on.
So hard.
Let's move on to the
not.
next 4:25 game.
Go Houston. That's a one dog.
Houston at Denver. Denver's favored by 10. I think that Houston covers that.
Really?
Yeah, 10-point spread is fucking scary.
I'm doing the same thing I did with the fucking Rams. This is probably going to be the game where they
make up for
connect it
their
all
loss.
together. Yeah.
I think the Broncos kind of figured out. 10's a big spread, though.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I know I've been saying what I've been saying. I think this is the one I don't. I think this is the one I take Texans on the spread.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that.
You think Haggett kind of tries to remedy what he
I
did?
do.
Like, all right, Russ, I'm sorry. Let's
I
go.
still have Denver
Call a lot of
Denver's
your
gonna
shit.
win, and I can definitely
Do
see
you have
them
Denver
winning by
winning?
a lot, but
Is Denver winning?
I'm gonna take Texans
You
on the
think?
spread.
Okay. I'll take the
It's
Texans.
just so hard because it's like the Texans are so.
But we thought the Colts were
They are not
pretty decent, right?
Yeah,
they
but
played with them.
The Colts look like they did last year. That's
They're
the
also
bad thing. That's the bad thing about saying it is that we
Yeah.
thought they were upgrading with Matt Ryan, and they looked the exact same as they did last
It's
year.
in Denver too. I mean,
They're in Denver. They're coming off a loss. I mean, if this is how I'm looking at it. If they somehow lose this game, we really have to question, does Russell even want to do this shit anymore? Because there's no reason they lose.
He's got way more weapons than the Colts had to, just get this done.
There's no reason that,
That's a big spread, though. I still think this is the game
spread is scaring me, and I think the Texans probably cover. But
so you're taking them to cover?
I'm taking them to cover because it's just such a high number. Like 10, it's hard to do.
So losing but covering?
I could see.
Yes, for sure.
I could see.
So I'm gonna take Denver. I'm gonna take Denver to take that to cover that 10.
Okay.
On an island.
And you have
this next one's low for me,
yep.
in my opinion.
All right, moving on. Let's go.
This next one's low for me.
Arizona on the road in Vegas.
Yeah,
Vegas is a 5.5 point favorite.
I mean, 5.5. So
yeah, I'm probably gonna take. I'm gonna take Vegas.
How are they gonna shoot out? How are they gonna shoot out with Vegas? Like I feel like it should be.
I don't think they can.
They're not.
Well, I mean, we saw that Derek Carr didn't have his shit together week 1.
If you get
also play the Chargers.
Yeah,
I mean that's a big gap.
Yeah, I think
the Cardinals. I think
with how well Devontae Adams had the game
gap.
that Devontae Adams in week 1, I think he's going to have an even better game this week.
No,
I really do.
Easily.
Bold prediction: 2 weeks in a row, they let 5 passing touchdowns happen to Derek Carr just goes off.
I'm on that. Let's fucking go, man. Yeah,
this Cardinals team is not as
good
good as people are rating it. I don't care
They're
what they say. I don't care that they're down.
Yeah.
I mean, I do care that they're down DeAndre because now they're stuck with Marquise Brown and AJ. That's the thing Marquise Brown is not good. AJ Brown is old. Like they don't.
Green.
Zach or AJ Green is old.
Yeah,
Zach Ertz is their starting tight end, and he's fading. James Conner's the only thing on offense that they had to rely on against the Chiefs because Bucky.
He's a touchdown machine, though. He might get 1 or 2.
He might get 1 or 2, but I just think.
All right.
I think the combined power of this offense. I think they probably.
So we're all unanimous. Raiders cover 5.5.
I think they probably get a party thrown on them
tonight.
tonight.
Such a big Cardinals agenda, but I like it.
All right, got up the tempo. Let's get it.
He beats that down like. Wait till week 8. They're gonna fucking suck.
Yeah,
they're not good.
Sunday night
I just
football.
don't think they're as good as they're hyped up to be.
Hey, they got to get them wins in early though, so watch out.
Sunday night football, 8:20 p.m. Chicago Bears on the road in Green Bay. Green Bay is favored by 10. I'm taking Green Bay. I think they fucking get their shit together.
They cover that 10?
Yeah, they cover it.
what you got, Cody?
I don't like Chicago at all. They don't get to play in the rain every week.
I'm gonna take Chicago to cover that.
I'm going to take Chicago to win this game.
No fucking way!
Stop.
Stop.
Chicago starts off 2-0.
Quit.
They're a terrible team afterwards, but they start off 2-0.
No.
They're not playing in the rain again. Rodgers is not going to have another. If Rodgers has got to throw the ball 50 times to A.J. Dillon, he fucking will. Y'all aren't winning this game. I think the Packers cover easily.
I can't wait for
Cover that 10.
All right.
I can't wait for that.
We all got our opinions. Let's go. We're going to the Monday night slate. There's 2 Monday night football games, which that's crazy to me. I didn't think that was going to happen.
They need to switch the. No, actually, they don't.
Honestly, I think the more primetime game is the latest game for the week. But we'll go with Tennessee is on the road in Buffalo. Buffalo's favored by 10.
I like this.
I'm pounding Buffalo. Like I'm pounding the table for Buffalo. They easily win this game.
Josh Allen is on the MVP run.
He may have 5 fucking touchdowns.
He's going
on
to
the
go
5
crazy.
touchdowns?
On the Titans?
5 touchdowns?
No, not on the Titans.
4. I'll go 4.
I'm saying 5 touchdowns.
I just hope they don't. Start slow, kind of like they did last week.
Yeah,
but the Titans have that level of defense. The Titans have that level of a defense. Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best pass rushers
That's why I
in
think
the league.
that 10 just seems
Kevin
really high.
Byard is one of the best safeties in the league.
Don't care.
Have the level of defense.
Still
don't care.
It doesn't matter. The Bills are going to cover.
Don't
it's just
care.
because the offense sucks.
Oh, you got them covered?
The offense, they don't have anybody. We're talking about receive. We're talking about fucking.
Let's fucking go,
talking
baby.
about
Derrick
receiver.
Henry's a big step up from fucking Henderson.
The
though.
Bills
Yeah,
are
but
going
Derrick
to
Henry
dominate.
didn't look Derrick Henry last week against a worse defense.
All right.
That's a big
Do you
spread.
think
I'm
so?
off the Bills too.
You don't think
Von
so?
Miller is.
Are we really hating on
We
the
can
Titans
clean-
that much?
Titans are not good.
Sweep a 10-point spread.
For the Bills?
Yes.
That may be a bold prediction.
Stephon
in and of
is him.
itself.
I think he has a good game. All right, we'll take the Bills.
Let's go.
Okay. We'll unanimous.
We all.
All of us think the Bills cover and win. All right, so
Damn, I usually don't do that.
the final game for week 2.
Hey, this is the best.
The best teams in the NFC.
This is a great.
I actually do think this may be one of the this may be a matchup in the playoffs. This is early playoffs.
Could be a late playoff
I think.
matchup too. To be honest,
Minnesota on the road against Philly. They are 2.5 point underdogs to Philly. I think Philly covers.
Jacob.
You know,
I really do.
Easy.
I was hoping
Minnesota wins this and covers.
I agree.
You think they win?
Minnesota wins this.
Minnesota wins.
This is why. Because there's not a person in this fucking league who can cover them. Slay isn't Ramsey. Slay isn't.
Slay.
Okay, we can.
Slay's better. Slay's better than Jair.
To help.
Slay is better than Jair.
I like Darius. I like Slay a lot. He's never been considered a top 3 corner. That's what Jair has in his past been considered.
Recently.
It's bullshit.
I mean,
just because he's 30 doesn't mean he's not good.
Do me last, man. I'm still.
We all took Vikings to win and cover, and he took Eagles. We all took our favorite
walk-off field goal by Jake Elliott. That covers that fucking spread.
It's not going to have to walk off because Justin Jefferson's going 11 for 100.
I'm talking to all you bitches out there.
Right.
Eagles start out fucking 2-0, cover the 2.5 point spread.
How confident are you on your
I am more confident than I've ever been about
against this Vikings team?
Yes, fuck the Vikings.
Detroit just put 35 on you.
38-7, bitch. All y'all bitches stole.
You let Detroit.
Hey,
I'm gonna take the Vikings.
You're in a good spot.
I'm gonna take the Vikings to win.
Thinking
about just what Detroit did.
Listen. Here's my explanation. You let Detroit put 35 on you, and the Vikings are better at every position than the Lions. Quarterback, running back, receiver, offensive line, defense.
Our defense is going to be the same.
I don't know if Dallas
we're
going to
allow 35 points to everybody.
Okay.
That's what it's going to be.
You all didn't beat Detroit by 3.
Yeah.
And now you have to beat
a better team in the Vikings
at home.
I mean, yeah, sure.
We didn't have a fucking. We didn't even have a snap. We didn't have a snap count.
I'm glad you took the Eagles. I figured you would. You took the Cowboys. You took the Eagles. I took the Bears, and you took the Patriots. We all took.
Did we really?
Teams.
That's funny.
Yep. That's how it works.
A little biased.
No, it's not.
It's definitely.
We still got 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes. Y'all are fucking bullshitting, man.
I took the Vikings to win the
at home against a team that has one player expected to do well on offense.
2.
No, 1.
3. I'll take 4. Yeah.
No. They ran the ball at will last week.
They're better you all get at every position.
A fucking top defense in the league.
What are you talking about? On all like the skill positions?
No.
Except Goddard.
They're better at quarterback. They're better at receiver. They're better at running back. They're better at the offensive line is better than the Vikings.
You can argue Smith over bulletin
Goddard.
board, big as shit. Just put it right here, and I'm gonna just keep putting right down the fucking checklist. Let's more ammo. Come on.
You know, he gets like this, and then he's pissed off.
2.5 point dogs.
You realize
They ain't covering. Ain't happening.
You realize if you don't win by 3, it's covered. Like that's so crazy.
We beat our first opponent by 3.
That's it.
So you're taking them to cover.
You beat a worse team by 3, and they put up 35.
How are you so sure that Detroit's worse?
Because I can go at the positions and tell you who's better.
No, I think they're worse.
Who's better? Who's better? Who's better? Who's better on the Lions defensive line than Danielle Hunter or Zadarius Smith?
Aiden Hutchinson.
No, he's not.
Real quick.
Quit lying. He's not better than them. Who's better than Harrison Smith in the secondary for the Lions? Nobody. Who's better than Justin Jefferson?
Okudah is probably
Lions?
better than Smith now.
I hope you're right.
Take Okudah.
If I'm right about the Bears winning and you all win,
They lead the division.
The Bears lead the division. I'm for it. I'm rooting for the Eagles. I don't believe in it.
Take them. Stop being dumb. This fucking team never beats us. Kirk Cousins gonna look like fucking. No.
God.
Kirk Cousins might
like
throw 200 yards to Justin Jefferson against y'all. And
You're
then
fucking.
What was the easiest? What was the hardest?
What's Justin?
We got a minute.
Okay. Hold on. No, fuck that. What is Justin Jefferson? Hold on. We'll get to that, but I want to know what Justin Jefferson's line is.
Okay, so what was the easiest bet for you?
The easiest one was
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Just because I think they're going to win pretty easily, so it's just being the underdog.
You want to do your toughest too?
They hating on your Patriots, man. I don't like them either, but
they can hate.
My toughest probably Washington and Detroit's game. I think picking Detroit, that's pretty tough.
He thinks the fucking Bears are going to win.
Yeah. My toughest is Texans Broncos. That's a 10 points is just tough on them.
Yeah,
they played really well against the Colts. I could see that.
So what's your easiest? What's your hardest?
My easiest.
He's saying Vikings.
My easiest bet was
Vikings
Niners.
is easy.
Who?
Niners Seahawks. I think
That's easy.
I think that was a pretty easy one for me.
I don't know. I think the Rams is probably the easiest.
Even by 10 points.
They play the worst team out of all these teams that we're talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. Y'all are hating on the Eagles.
And I think
not saying someone is going to win is not hating.
Really pissing me off.
At home.
Not saying someone who's going to win is not hate.
My heart is.
You're playing a better team and you gave up a lot of points. It's not hard to say. There's not like we.
No, I get y'all's rationale, but you're going to be wrong. It's crazy.
What's your hardest bet? What was the hardest one for you to decide on?
The hardest one for me, I don't know.
Mine would be their game. Easy. I think it's going to be the best.
Eagles Vikings.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really.
I think
good.
evenly matched teams. Like
I think they
evenly
cover
matched,
though. I don't.
But, yeah,
They cover the 2.5.
Well, you have them winning, so I guess so.
Yeah.
But we're
It's
going
just
to
a
move
1-point win. And it's still fucking winning.
on. Yeah, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about some quarterback troubles coming up next.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to our segment called Last Chance U, but we're going to talk about quarterbacks within the NFL that we think may be on the chopping block after the season. Teams looking for different quarterbacks, upgrading positions. The way I've broken it up, and I'm going to go through my list and kind of get y'all's opinion on it and just touch on each individual player. I've got the for sure category, which teams are going to move on from these players no matter what, even if they end up doing well. I've got the maybes, which that's teams that could possibly end up being way worse than they expected for themselves and move on from their quarterback. And then the not at alls, like teams that are they're iffy situations from the public perspective. But
are we also talking about teams that could? Because I don't think the Eagles are, but y'all are in a very good position.
We got it. I'm pretty sure I was as objective as possible about these players. So, starting off in the for sure category, or actually, let's start out with the for sure category. Yes. I think for sure Daniel Jones is not on the Giants this year.
I think so.
Only if they can move on.
Good point. If they're not in a position to draft somebody and the market's, pretty dry for the most part.
The market's, locked up. Because, are you going to somehow get Herbert out of there? Are you going to somehow get Burrow out of there? No. Lamar? Those are the contract coming up. But I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
No.
Only if they're able to move on, will they?
I was thinking trades or, through the draft.
Yeah, well, this year in college, there's a ton of great quarterbacks.
A lot of good quarterback play.
A lot of them are juniors, so maybe they won't move on. But if you see 10 teams looking for a quarterback, this is your chance, and they're going to. So I think that regardless, if Saquon can carry them to however wins,
if they get 6-7 wins,
they're still going to draft a quarterback in this draft.
We were talking about Will Levis on a lot of draft boards. He's projected 9th to go to them.
Third.
But I've also been hearing
he's third on this big board.
But I've also heard he won't go in the first round. I'm like, how? Why? And so,
how many what we're getting into?
Yeah, we'll talk about those guys.
How many teams are actively going to look?
So everybody thinks it's a for sure Daniel Jones. They're moving on, regardless on how good he plays.
Or they're looking. Does that count like they're? Or is the maybe category that they might be looking? They're not happy with what they have.
I think maybe is more of they're going to. For at least me, all the maybes they're more than likely going to be on that team next year. But they're wanting to move on in the not so far.
Gotcha. Yeah, either so they're looking to draft or if someone.
Yeah, okay. That point is kind of how I went with it, and maybes as in they didn't know if they were necessarily going to be good enough with their quarterback play, but they're good with it after the season. Yeah. That's how I'm looking at it. But moving on to the next player, we've got Geno Smith. I figure that Seattle's probably not going to be good this season, and Geno's been on his 4th, 5th team at this point. Yeah. Barring the crazy shit that could happen with him, I don't think that he's. I just don't think he's not good enough. They're not going to win a Super. If their goal is Super Bowl in Seattle, they're not going to win a Super Bowl with Geno.
Right? No. He's been in that system though for a few years now, hasn't he? Hasn't he kind of found a little home? You think? And also, if he keeps this little, run he's had, obviously it was a big win against the Broncos. You don't think they may want to just keep? I think Drew Lock might actually be the guy. They're
I don't even think
Geno won that job, so
I was going to say I don't even think they're.
Are you going to waste time developing him? Pete Carroll's over 70 years old.
They didn't draft Drew. They're not beholden to him. They got him on a fucking Russell Wilson trade. I don't think he's
exactly so. But Geno won that job. They're like, this is enough. He's kind of had his Heisman moment. His bad, he's shown something.
I think the best case scenario for Geno is he plays phenomenal this year, and they draft late. They go 2nd, 3rd round. QB play, and then they sit him behind Geno for a year or so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's in his 30s.
Who would be that? So, if we're talking...
it depends, too. If they have the first pick, they're going to take a top star, but if we're assuming that, Geno plays that good, they're winning games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And people are going to get lost in the weeds about Seattle after week 1. I think they're probably going to end up still being bad, even though they were able to beat Denver.
They're kind of in a rebuild anyway, so it's they've got weapons though. So I mean, are you comfortable with Geno? You want to build around the defense? Maybe
that's another thing. The fact that they have that kind of weaponry at their disposal, they need to get a guy that can make the most. I
think
of it.
So too.
So
even if Geno, what if he takes him to fucking 500? You know, they're still like, good job, man.
Yeah, I
Thanks.
don't think it happens.
All right. You helped us for a little bit, basically.
This guy's interesting. So Mitch Trubisky is next.
Yeah, Mitch Trubisky. He's the starter currently in Pittsburgh, but they have a first-round pick at their backup, and Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh.
Him and this next
match
guy,
made in heaven. He's gonna be gone.
Which I'll spoil it. Him and the next guy, Marcus Mariota. I think we're in the exact same.
I do too.
Yeah.
If they ball out, they're being replaced because they're going to go get a payday somewhere else. Mm-hmm. I think that's what they were playing for.
I don't think Marcus is that good though. I think he's kind of found some kind of. He's kind of a niche quarterback too.
Yeah. You got to have him in a running offense. You
how many people out there are needing
doing it now?
Because he's not that. At one point, I mean, he started for the Titans. He was supposed to be that guy, but I still don't think he's got like a lock on.
But I think the best case scenario for either of these guys is they ball out and they get a job elsewhere because both of these teams took the quarterback they want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think Ritter sees the field.
Yeah, like we'll probably end up seeing.
I don't care how they're like we've invested in this guy now.
We'll probably end up seeing, the rookie quarterbacks take a couple snaps this year. Mm-hmm. If they don't, that's probably best case scenario for the teams that have those guys.
The only way they don't is if these two guys are starting all year. And they're playing well, and they're in playoff conditions.
I believe Mariota has a higher chance to keep his job over the season than Mitch does.
Really?
Yeah.
Even after what Mitch showed against the Bengals, and he's proven
do
in Chicago that he can win.
They fucking shouldn't have won that game.
Oh, he did though.
You don't have all that shit. You don't have. They're just like
Mariota competed with the Saints, who people were high on. Like I could see these guys. I don't know,
but Mariota fits better for that offense.
At worst, they're some of the best.
And I see Kenny Pickett. I see Kenny Pickett is better than Desmond. So I would. It makes more sense for me, and it would make more sense to have Kenny play earlier than Desmond. Like they're getting by as they're getting by.
Hangs on to it.
Yeah.
Like
that's how I feel.
Interesting. I think Mitch actually has the best case to keep that job out of these four. We've already said. I think Ritter's going to see the field before Kenny Pickett does. My bold prediction, I guess.
I think Mitch has a better chance just because they won week 1,
and I think they've got a pretty good offensive team. Mitch is the best distributor of all these guys, too, I think. Might just I don't know.
I agree.
All right, moving on. Now we're going into the maybes category. There's quite a bit here. There's
a lot of interesting topics.
7 maybe quarterbacks that I decided that are in that fringe, I guess. Ryan Tannehill, considering they took Malik Wilson in the 3rd round, right?
Yeah.
It's 3rd round.
What's the scenario he gets benched this year?
Benched? They're 0-6 maybe, like really bad.
If they're 0-6, do you play the quarterback that you don't really trust, or do you play the guy that you definitely do?
Ryan knows that system, and Ryan is pretty much on the borderline of average to a little above average. And I think after what they saw they could do, it's like we should be there. And I don't think they're going to bench him and risk that unless they go on a monumental just losing streak.
Yeah,
I think
none of these.
I don't think he's a maybe. I think he's a not.
I don't either. And you could argue a few of these guys aren't, but
I think he at least plays out his entire contract, which I don't know. Maybe it's coming up, but I think he plays out his entire contract, and then the QB battle starts for him. But I don't think that.
The problem is we're not seeing any of these quarterbacks until these teams are eliminated from the playoffs. Like, especially the Titans, because they can be a playoff team. Yeah. I mean, what happens if the Falcons and the Seahawks are just ripping off wins with their quarterbacks? Like, we're not going to see anybody else. But like. The chances of that.
But how long, like the foreseeable future? Because the crowd's going to be the fans if they go on
I hate that the fans don't fucking matter. We don't care.
They do. They're screaming for that backup to get thrown in there.
They do, but we do.
Like what you're talking about with the Steelers. The fans are the ones wanting Pickett in.
I think
Pickett won that starting job.
I think Pickett's going to be better down the road, and I think if you have a quarterback that you invested in, you should play them and give them the chance.
All right, keep that energy.
Yeah, keep that energy.
I'm giving you the energy.
Everyone.
I'm giving you the energy with Trey Lance. You guys
We're gonna get to Trey Lance.
You guys severely.
But like with Malik Willis, like, do you think? Okay, so just speaking all around Tannehill, do you see him playing this year?
No, I don't see. I don't see him because they could be a playoff team.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
they've
all
been a
based on
playoff team with Ryan.
performance.
You could be a playoff.
Jalen Hurts should not be on here. I mean, unless
Jalen should be a not at all. He's the only reason he's a maybe is because they have two first round picks.
I mean, we don't agree on that, but anyways, we'll move on to Jameis Winston. The Saints to me, like, they're in a predicament where, like, they've already paid Taysom Hill.
Yeah, they got two quarterbacks making money.
Jameis is like on his. I'm pretty sure it's his final year of his deal, so they have to extend him if he does end up playing well. My thing is that there's not really a whole lot of room for them to improve next year. If there's not a lot of free agent quarterbacks on the market, which there's not going to be, because they don't have their first round pick. They gave it to us, so like, I don't think they have the opportunities there to go on ahead and get,
So do you see Jameis hanging on to that for the whole year? Or do they kind of be like, we've seen Taysom, we've made packages for Taysom. Taysom led our team for a majority of the year last year, you know what I mean? So do they just kind of, like you said, they're good?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this year is or going into next season, this is not, there's nothing they can do to move off Jameis. Personally, just because the situation is there that they can't. There's just nothing they can do.
They're going to be too good to draft a high quarterback, and even if you draft a quarterback at that point in time, they're not going to be better than Jameis. You're going to have to.
Exactly.
Well, that says some Jameis. If they're good, Jameis is leading that team. So it's like, so you think Taysom Hill's kind of more in the boat of?
Yeah, I think he's a not at all. The only way any other player plays quarterback for them is injury.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
I think Jameis is that guy.
Yeah. But we'll move on from them. I think that they're kind of stuck with Jameis at this point, especially moving into next season. Carson Wentz with Washington picked up Sam Howell in the draft. Carson's on his third team at this point.
Carson will be all right.
If he's winning games for them,
we thought that with the Colts too.
Yeah,
he didn't lose his
I
job
thought he had a
Colts,
good situation with the Colts.
Yeah,
and
it just fell apart.
He's on the trajectory now that he's playing well. I mean, usually we've seen him though take a complete nosedive.
It's a matter of him losing his job at this point. That's not happening. He's not losing his job to Sam Howell.
Yeah.
Someone here at this table was calling for Sam, or they said Sam Howell looked good.
He looked good over the preseason, but I'm not playing him.
This is before we saw what Carson did week one.
Right now.
For me, he is the definition of maybe. If they
literal roller coaster.
I agree.
Yes, if he starts to play bad, is when you bench him. Like, if they're out of the playoff contention.
Are they using him as a scapegoat? Well, he's kind of got that reputation following him now, too. It's like Jim Irsay buried his ass. Yeah. And it's like, we went out and invested a lot in this guy, but we're okay with moving on from him after a year. And we thought you were getting – it's kind of following him now. And the Washington Commanders would not mind, I think, doing that, too. He's like, yeah, we got Sam Howell. Yeah.
Like, for me at least, this is the one team that – or, like, there's a couple of it. But, like, for me, this team – seems like if they're not going to make the playoffs, you lose nothing benching Carson.
No.
But if you're in the playoffs, you want Carson even if he's
ride or die with him. I mean, we thought we were going to make it with the Colts.
Yeah. The thing about Carson is that, like, and everybody sees this about him, he doesn't know when to let a play just die.
Yeah, he's going to try and make it.
And it turns into, like...
He has no concept of a base hit.
Conduct detrimental to the organization type shit. Like... It's fucking insane that he makes plays.
But
like
I mean,
that
if we're looking at it, he's
season.
a 20,000 yards over his career, 144 touchdowns, and 59 interceptions. Like, think of that.
Those
ratio.
are some of the most consequential.
Just last year alone, he was
27-4.
Like I don't get it with this guy. Jim Irsay's on some shit. We've known that for a long fucking time.
He might have met him in the line. That's got to be more on a personal level. It sounds personal. He's like, yeah, Carson.
Jim, he probably denied his fucking drink. Carson was like, didn't you stop drinking? Like, didn't you have a problem a while ago? Like, no. I don't. Carson's not he's not getting benched.
You put him in a not at all?
Sam's not playing this season.
Well, I'm talking about next season.
Whether they make...
Moving on.
No.
So you think he's a not at all?
They don't move on next year?
If he replicates what he did last year, he's not losing.
You haven't made the playoffs, so I think a few others do. But so it would have to be like, I guess not blowing the last game.
He would have to lose every game.
Yeah,
like that's literally like it would have to be some abysmal type of like just get him off the
because you are bringing him in with a pretty good offense to like.
He's not being what Carson has been in the past and losing his job next year. It's not happening.
You don't think so? So if they blow the last game to the Cowboys,
are you going to tell me that Sam Howell's going to be as efficient as Carson is?
No. But that's
not.
That's not saying he's
the limiting factor.
That would make the Commanders go out and look for somebody.
The limiting
like
factor
the Colts did with Matt Ryan.
moving into next season is the same with the Saints. I don't think that Washington's going to be bad enough to get a high enough pick to pick someone good enough to be better than Carson.
The Colts weren't either. They let him go. My thing is,
they had a backup Ryan.
Exactly, but
they could do
Carson still lost his job. Are the Commanders going to be that? Kind of.
Who's to say that the Colts were right on that?
I mean, no, you're not. But that doesn't change the fact that
Carson
lost his job with that team.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could argue.
I think he's staying.
Yeah,
I do too, but he is a good.
His arm has
comparison.
To blow up.
I think he's perfectly made.
All right, but we can move on from Carson Wentz to his draft compadre, the guy he was picked after in the 2016 draft, Jared Goff. Jared Goff on his second team with probably the best.
I don't think
the best Lions offense they've had in a while.
For sure.
You think he's a for sure?
Easy.
You don't think he's with the team?
Yeah. No, I think they 100% they draft a quarterback.
I think if
first round,
are they going to be a top 3 pick?
Very possibly could, and even if they're not, like
I don't think so. After what I've seen them do with the Eagles and the team,
I think
I just don't think
they probably are like a wild card team at the end of the year.
I don't know about this.
If they make it to the playoffs,
they're going to be in the
position.
Very bold.
I think that's for sure. I think they draft a quarterback here. He's being replaced next year.
He's amazing.
Even if the quarterback that they draft doesn't start. They're moving on from him next year.
Yeah, I could see that, but I also don't see them in the position to get a quarterback that does that.
Yeah, I think he's a maybe. I think he's perfectly good.
Jared's better than every quarterback in the draft next year, other than Bryce and CJ.
Oh, thank God you said that.
Yeah. Well, he's been to the Super Bowl. He's been, and he's.
I'm trying to even think of who's going to be Seahawks. They're not going to lose more games than the Seahawks, so they're not going to be in a position.
The Giants.
The Giants,
Houston,
they're not gonna.
What has Jared done to say I like to let go of that job though? We're saying
he really hasn't played bad.
Exactly, but we're talking about literally moving on. Do you not see Jared Goff on the Lions next year?
I know, I do.
You've seen him play?
I see him being the starter through the year.
I do too.
He's not losing his job this year. He's not losing it next year. Yeah. If they draft somebody, it'll be 2 or 3 years before they play.
So we're bringing up the possible draft picks. I mean, like you said, I don't see them being that.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think the Lions are going to be that bad to where they have a high enough pick. Kind of like.
So you're thinking they draft someone and he loses his job to said draftee?
I think if he can put them I think regardless they draft a quarterback, regardless of where they land. But I
see him as a backup.
The only scenario is if they have one of the worst and they get one of those 2, they're starting. I think if it's any other quarterback, maybe
right, because that's a big difference. We drafted a 7th round quarterback just to say,
and I think
learn under Jared.
Yeah,
that means he's hanging on to his job.
Yeah.
So
But for me, it just seems like
the quarterback draft is just so dookie.
Really, next year's.
After the first 5 guys, kind of after Miami's quarterback, then you can kind of argue.
That's what I'm saying. Tyler Van Dyke is 5, but it's Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, and K.J. Jefferson is actually 5. But this isn't a deep.
Is Caleb Williams a junior?
He's a sophomore.
He's a sophomore. Okay, he'll probably be the number 1 pick.
I think it's pretty deep, but it depends on where you're picking at. If you really needed that top echelon
but it's just,
guy.
do you trust the quarterback from Coastal Carolina?
Yes, Grayson McCall's that guy.
No.
I fucking love that guy.
Let's go.
All right, let's keep it rolling because we still got 12 minutes. Jalen Hurts. I have him in the maybes because it really just depends on how he needs to win the division, win a playoff game, and look like a top 15 quarterback.
He's going to be highly sought after, man, if he hits the market. Just the way he's dual threat quarterback like that. He's
I think he's
took you out of the playoffs. He's got a really great roster.
I don't personally think he's going to fail. But the thing is that if he does, they are going to be in the market for it because
they've got
the most.
Jalen shouldn't be on this list.
They've got the most capital of any team to be able to move up to get a top tier quarterback in the draft. And if they think that is what takes them over the edge, to a Super Bowl,
y'all don't have that pick though.
If they go to the NFC Championship with you all aren't going to get that guy. Lose, they could probably move on. I wouldn't put it past Howie. I really wouldn't.
NFC, if your quarterback heard you talking about this, Super Bowl aspirations.
It's the reality of the situation.
I mean, you want to go after Deshaun and Russell, but
objective. I'm saying what happens if he fucking sucks.
I agree with you 100%. If he plays bad, they move on.
I don't think he's going to.
You can say that about everybody, I guess, but I mean, Jalen. No, but
this is a particular situation where they have that
pretty scary
backup. They have the situation for the quarterback to be bad, and they can move on. Like
pretty scary backup.
Yeah, like it's completely opposite of the Saints because the Saints don't have a first round pick.
I just think even if Cooper Rush fucking goes out and balls out, we are not benching Dak.
Yeah,
I don't care what the situation is. I mean, we're not getting rid of him.
Dak's not in the maybe, but Jalen is.
Who is looked at as a much more mobile, athletic quarterback, and just act. What is Jalen like? Why did they hate Jalen so much? I don't understand.
I don't think it's.
They don't. They're just set up to move on if they need to.
Yeah.
It's not.
How are they set up to move on?
They have 2 first-round picks.
They fucking traded one to the Saints to get old boy.
We have 2 still, and we have another 2 next year.
God, I just moving on.
We have first-round picks out the wazoo. That's what I'm saying. Like we have the assets to move on.
They are set up.
Your entire team's wearing Jalen season shirt. Y'all better not look that dumb, man.
That's what I personally wouldn't want to happen as a fan.
It's not.
But when it comes to the management,
we can't look at it like it's looking.
Even
dumb.
This roster's loaded, and they're
that's what I'm
expected to go.
saying. So why are we going to waste time with
Why
Jalen?
is he on this list? I'm arguing for him not being on this list. Period.
Yeah, I'm arguing that he's perfect where he's at.
I understand where y'all are coming from, but like it could be so bad.
I guess I'm. It's more of a. You're hopeful for him, and I don't want to be there.
Everybody has the same opinion on
this.
This
is the same.
If it does go bad, the management's not going to allow that to be.
But I keep seeing from your guys, your front office, his whole teammate, Jalen season. We are on his side now. We didn't get Deshaun.
There's a lot of protection around Carson too, but we moved on from him.
And he's in the exact same position.
And I think Carson, as a talent, is just as good.
He better be on that.
Still better than Jalen, just because Jalen's like so early in his career. But I think for the team aspect of it, Jalen is a perfect fit for this team. I would not want to move on.
Give just because it's I'm sick of. I want to hear unanimous, just positivity. Cheering on my
like you're not moving on from Dak. Dak is the leader in that organization.
I wish Skip would get the fuck over that. I wish
Jalen has
moving on from
a team, man. This team is loaded.
Yeah.
But but everything you're saying is also the reason why they are okay if it doesn't work out. We have the 2 first-round picks. This team's loaded. It's the same thing with the 49ers. We'll get into that. Yeah. But it's the same thing with the 49ers. This team is set up. This team is set up to win.
That's why
we are not taking the time.
So you're completely blaming Jalen if shit goes wrong. It's got to be on him though. If they not winning,
but
it's
I'm
Jalen's
saying
fault.
if that's what it's going to be, it's probably going to be that or injuries. Yeah. That's been the thing. It's been quarterback play and injuries for the Eagles. That's why they haven't been making it
even
as far
going
as
into
they
the
can.
year we won the Super Bowl, we had to do it with the backup.
I think he's more in the category with Baker because he is.
But that's still a maybe.
Exactly, but Baker took that team to the playoffs, beat the Steelers, and then Jalen got you on to the playoffs somehow as a wild card team when no one thought you were going to do.
Did Baker dirty? I don't see the Eagles being any better in the front office.
Like, man, you took us to playoffs. This roster. We went out, spent the picks, spent the money. We have loaded you up.
I hate that. That's
you cannot cop out at the end of the season and be like, "Ooh."
Baker is they did Baker dirty. The only reason they did Baker dirty is because of the allegations.
They wouldn't found someone better if they would have got Deshaun.
If there was no allegations, nobody would be saying anything because it's a clear.
And that's Skip. Whatever he does, he's like they went out and got a top 3 quarterback. Like you could argue that and.
The next guy, I mean, we literally could just have the same exact conversation.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way.
Tua Tagovailoa is literally in the same exact spot.
I don't think so.
As Jalen Hurts.
I guess the category-wise, but he hasn't gotten the criticism. Jalen.
Not even close.
But Jalen's gotten criticism, but Tua's gotten
the Dolphins have never had the expectations of making a Super Bowl, though. Like, the Eagles have been
up until this year. The Dolphins haven't had a competitive roster like
that. And the Eagles have been competitive.
Tua's media people putting them videos out, like, he has just been... gotten Brian Flores, even his own coach, wanted to go after these guys. They're seeing stuff that we're not.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think Tua's more in the Baker situation than Jalen.
I could argue they're all in the kind of the same boat, but
you have the.
They don't have the draft assets though.
Well, I'm talking Lamar. Lamar's showed the interest, so you're going to be like, even if Tua balls out, if they go, we can get Lamar, see ya.
Yeah. They thought they were getting Brady and Deshaun too, but I mean that didn't happen. It just. Yeah. He's perfectly in a maybe too. Exactly I think he's a real good maybe. Just about
I am on
all
the
other people who are looking elsewhere, or
he hasn't done anything for me to be like, oh, he's not a maybe.
Too.
He plays good. Like he played all right against the Patriots, but he still had dead drives. and he still had terrible fucking throws that were just in the dirt and nowhere near. It's like the mechanics are off. Like it's like
they're also not going to be in a position to draft anybody. They're going to be good.
Maybe we should have had a category for no excuses.
Like, he is a higher shelf Teddy Bridgewater to me.
Those are the two no excuse guys.
He's a higher shelf Teddy Bridgewater to me. Like,
damn,
you are okay with him starting. You can win games with him starting, but you're not going to go
Teddy. I haven't seen anything good from Teddy in a minute.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that he's not. I'm not saying that he's also not better than Teddy.
I'm just saying,
but like he is a Teddy.
It's kind of cool having Lamar and
let's finish up this category though.
Quarterback, right?
Let's move on to the last guy within the maybes for me, Baker Mayfield, because like he could play well enough to.
They've already come out and said that they're comfortable with him being there next year.
Yeah,
they have
already seen that, so they're good with Baker.
But
they kind of
that's not necessarily true if the coach isn't there. Like, what if Matt Rule's not there next year? Then things could change.
Yeah.
You know, like,
all the time.
What if he's that bad?
Hot seat too. So,
like, there's a lot of things that could change within the Panthers organization.
Yeah, where's that coming down from? Is that coming from upper like ownership management?
David, what's I forget the name of the coach.
Tua throwing a catchable ball is the "you have nice eyes" of quarterback compliments.
Oh my god!
I don't know, man. That presser he had really fucked.
I hate on Tua. It's a division.
Kyler doesn't say that. I can't see shit. Y'all get open. Look at me. I got you.
Yeah,
I don't.
At least Seamus got LASIK. Like his eyes are fucking thick. So,
do you think if the Panthers are horrible that they draft a quarterback?
Yes.
They're in just such a bad.
Yes.
They're paying.
That's the
so
problem
much
with
money
it.
to quarterbacks.
And they drafted. Actually, no, I'm
That's
going away from that because they're paying so much money in Baker and Sam, and they drafted Matt Corral this year. So it's like you're gonna bring another It's the same thing that the Cardinals were doing. Luckily, they came out on top, but they were just first round pick after first round pick, and Josh Rosen. They were able. They gave Josh Rosen a year, and they were like, Kyler. Like,
I think if Matt is healthy next year, and Baker doesn't surprise them, he plays. Well, I guess he does surprise them and plays really bad. I think you could see Matt play.
Yeah,
because you can't with Sam at this point. Sam's kind of got the reputation of being
it'll be
bust.
next season.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I thought you were talking about this season.
What if Baker gets used as a
Matt's
scapegoat
done for the year, and Sam will be back around in week 6.
Yeah. Like they're going to go into this offseason.
Week 6, we have a quarterback controversy. You think because week 6, week 7, I'm pretty sure is when Sam Darnold's projected to be back.
Sam is done. I think they're done with Sam.
And I was going to say,
do we not?
No, they are comfortable. They want Baker back. I keep seeing that. So it's
somebody's got to believe in the motherfucker. I mean, no team.
It's not you.
It's not me, but it's like you got to think. Like if I'm them, I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
Like it's different when you have the ability. Not everybody is the Eagles.
The Browns did say they were
picks.
comfortable going forward with him if they didn't get Watson.
If you're the Eagles with 2 first-round picks, all of these quarterbacks are in question that we've been named so far are in question. Mm-hmm. It's because you have the ability, and if you have the roster, you have to match it with quarterback play.
Yeah, which Jalen has to this point.
And I think Jalen will. I think Jalen will.
The only thing that
clouds which is scary because if I'm the fucking Eagles, I'm like, I could take these 2 first-round picks, make my team better, or try and bundle these bitches.
The narrative. What if the Saints end up being?
I'm bundling these bitches and being
that means
like,
you didn't believe in Jalen. Period, and you never did. You're like, yes, we were just waiting on this fucking draft.
If I'm the Eagles,
period. That means all that shit that was fucking fake. Your team's fake, wearing his fucking shirt and shit.
If I'm the Eagles,
I never want to see y'all support anybody else. It wasn't Carson then. He wasn't bad in the locker room.
Best case situation.
Y'all are making it toxic all around.
Best case
that shit.
Jalen's never played bad like Carson has. Like Carson's had.
He had a 19 QBR against the fucking Bucks.
Best case situation for the
game. Whereas the
biggest game of his career.
2020 was an entire season worth of Carson Wentz being the worst quarterback in the NFL. It was not even close.
He almost got them in the playoffs.
Hey,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Best
matter.
case scenario.
2020.
So they were on fucking. Jalen just barely got them in the playoffs, and Carson went completely off road.
Let it go. I love it.
So all right,
fuck that.
Best case scenario. Hold on.
Yeah,
best case scenario for the Eagles. Jalen's good. You package those 2 first-round picks. Somehow get number 2 or number 3, and you take Will Anderson. Derek Barnett just got hurt. Go get the best fucking defense. Go get the best player in college football. Win a Super Bowl.
That would be best case scenario. All right,
win a Super Bowl.
The next one are the
not at all for me.
I'm going to go ahead and just group 4 of them together
because they're literally on the rookie deals.
They're all going. These are all very.
Justin Fields, questions. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Trey Lance.
Those are the 4.
They're not going anywhere.
Well,
Trey Lance.
Those 4 are not going anywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say Trey Lance is the question one. Justin Fields, I don't think
they've invested too much into Trey Lance. You could argue he's not at all either.
Trevor Lawrence,
they have 3
Zach,
first round. There's no way.
Mac. Those 4, they are not moving on. Yeah. But here's the one that
I have nothing to say.
Trey Lance, this is what I've been wanting to say. There's only one scenario I see they move on.
Injury.
No. Well, yeah.
They're also paying Jimmy G nothing.
Yeah.
So
this is what
highest paid quarter backup money.
Doesn't matter.
No, they might get picks back for. I'm sorry to keep interrupting you. No. Go ahead. I'm very strong.
Yes, this is my absolute only scenario I see. If they, because I think he's going to get at least 6 games. I think there's no argument that he gets 6 games. If they go 0-6, you're out of the playoffs. Doesn't matter. He's playing. You're not moving on from someone. You're fucking done.
If you bench him too, you're killing his value of trading. Like, we don't believe in this motherfucker. Like, Jimmy G, we were ready to let him walk at one point. We got him for a steal, and it's like, okay, we gave him 3 first-round picks.
You're 0-6. Oh, yeah, let's put Jimmy G in to still not make the playoffs. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we have a Super Bowl roster, but here, fuck it, we're going to bail.
The absolute only scenario that they move on from Trey Lance is if Trey Lance plays awful. He's horrible, and they're like 5 wins and 6.
They're one game back wild card.
And still play just enough to like.
Their defense is carrying them. And I think that they're like, well, we're the playoff team, but this guy is almost losing us the games. Then you see Jimmy G.
Yeah, do you break up that? I mean, 5-1. Do you break up that? It's kind of like he's obviously in some kind of rhythm.
It's continuity.
He's pulling out wins.
Yeah,
Mr. Trubisky coming like obviously.
Yeah. I'm thinking worst case scenario. Like if he's like into the game, you all are up a field goal. He's throwing a pick.
They should be 4-2 by week 6.
He's blowing.
In my opinion, they should be 4-2 by week 6.
Do you see him playing? Do you see Jimmy G playing?
Yes.
No.
Wow.
This team is
not a chance.
The whole 17 game or 18 week season.
Other than injury. Only way that he plays.
I don't. If they are threatening to be out of playoff contention, that is when Jimmy G will come in. This team is too good. They can win a Super Bowl with this team. They are not wasting Debo. They are not wasting Dick Bosa. They are not wasting Fred Warner. They're not wasting all these players' years to prime a quarterback. This team is too good. If this was like,
they're just like any other team. They're going to put their team in the best chance to win. They still think that right now Trey Lance.
But do you think they feel they're starting quarterback?
And I'm saying 6 or 7. Give him 8-9 games. But the second that they're flirting with being out of playoff contention is when you need to make the decision. Is he the reason that we're not? Because it looks.
So are we overreacting to the week 1?
I'm not overreacting. No. I'm willing to give him 7 more weeks.
Becoming part of the conversation makes a little bit of an overreaction to me. I still think he's a not at all because he's on a rookie deal. He's on a rookie deal. They're going to need that in order to keep their players.
I think
Jim Sharp's he's been playing. Week 7, I think.
That's early. That is early. I think it's going to be literally. I think it's literally going to be probably the last week for playoff contention. Yeah. This is it.
Okay,
but it's also got to be.
Position, he brought them there. Like he put them.
That's
in
my
the
point.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like.
What's the point of?
No, I'm saying being out of playoff contention.
Yeah, but if they're in that. If they wait.
I don't care how close it is, man. He pulled that game out, and we're first, second in our division. Even though that's another thing. That division's showing little kinks. Like Rams are kind of
the Seahawks.
Maybe not what you expected.
The Seahawks are leading the division right now.
The Cardinals. I mean, like you said, they don't show up until they
stop
showing up. So let's get these wins now.
This team's just too good. You don't waste the potential of this team to get a quarterback ready. That's
if
not
they're like struggling, they're 500. You put Jimmy in. You have to. It's just like
they moved up.
This roster is built to compete.
They need to be willing. They need to. This is the thing. Is this we need to get over this? Oh, we invested all this money. We invested all this into this quarterback. We need to get over that. You need to do what is best. If you are in the position to win a Super Bowl, you need to do everything you can to win that Super Bowl.
My injury though is if you're
the only thing they should do is if Trey Lance is like nicked up going into a game, they should sit him and let him get healthy. Jimmy's good enough to win a game.
That's the only scenario.
But why sign your backup? If worst case scenario, my starter goes down, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So assuming for that, Jimmy G's the backup. That means he's losing his job.
Oh, he's a backup right now, and I think he should be because I want to see what Trey Lance
can do. Is it a reverse?
I mean, it is a monster.
But how long did it take? You don't see him playing. You don't see Trey Lance getting pulled it off.
4-2 by week 6 is what they should have been, and that's because they lose to the Rams and the Broncos. But they've already lost to the Bears. They've got to go to the Seahawks, who were good.
So the 3-3, you benching them?
I'm at least bringing the question up. It's coming up in the front office.
Also,
they can be 2-4.
You go. Listen, because if you're 3-3. If you're 3-3, you have to play the Chiefs, the Rams, the Chargers, the Cardinals, the Saints, the Dolphins, the Bucks, the Seahawks, the Commanders. That's abysmal. Yes,
possibly.
Yes,
Trey Lance is playing
Jimmy G
only
has played
500 with
against
that
these
roster
teams and has been to a Super Bowl.
Trey Lance.
If I gave you Jimmy G's numbers, they would be just the numbers, their top quarterback numbers. That's just the facts of it. Wins, all that.
We have to weigh in the over and under reaction type stuff because we've only seen a monsoon game with Trey Lance.
Yes.
But also,
I'm willing to give it 8 weeks.
You have it exactly, but so that means he's playing. You're giving 8 weeks. He
is playing the first 6 games.
Yeah.
He comes out 3-3. That's when I raise the question because we're going through a fucking gauntlet. You come 3-3 and you lose 2 of those 4 games that I mentioned, you're out of the playoffs.
You've already had Jimmy as your starter. You've already seen Trey Lance is okay.
And you've been to a Super Bowl with him.
Yes, and
that's why I'm saying.
You're already backing him up here. We paid him. He's the highest paid backup in the fucking league.
That is the level of what this team should be. You have been to a Super Bowl. You have been to the playoffs. You should at least be that. If your quarterback is the reason that you're not that, let's put the quarterback who got us there before.
I agree with that. But the thing is that with the circumstance of it being a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal,
I'm not exactly, which means I have him.
It doesn't.
Which means I have him. Let him sit and learn. If he's the reason I'm losing games, why am I going to be beholden?
I mean, that is
it's because you
kind of admitted you were wrong. Not wrong, but
that's what it is. They don't want to admit they're wrong because we gave 3 first. We did what we needed to do to get Trey Lance. So, I don't want to admit I'm wrong. But what is that? Am I going to ruin my fucking team's chances?
Potential and the snaps is what's going to make it
You're
better.
high on the potential, but what happens when the potential isn't meeting the play that we need to succeed?
Okay,
you invested your entire future into it.
Yeah.
I am okay with giving him the time to play, but if they're 3-3 going into playing the Chiefs, you need to make that question.
A game where he couldn't throw the football.
That's why I want to weigh
this before.
Really
6 games.
You're already preempting the question. There shouldn't be a preempt. Just let him play.
I have to preempt the question
because
this team is too good.
Exactly.
In
the
a
roster.
If it was in a clear day,
imagine if this was
sunny.
the Eagles and you had the same type of situation. Your team is set to win.
We lost
if Jalen is the reason
we lost, then
exactly. That's what I'm saying. They come out 3-3. They come out 3-3 in a break. They should have been 4-2.
If Jalen has the same performance in that week,
it is that different. It is.
It's pretty different.
Because now you're questioning, it is different. It's huge because now not only are you 500.
You're talking about the circumstances being the same and Jalen losing. That's not necessarily, he wasn't the reason they lost. Trey wasn't necessarily the reason they lost.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but coming into week 7, when you go to the Chiefs, if you are 3-3, you have to make the question, what is the reason that you're not winning?
What do you want to
Why
do
are we
for
3-3
your team moving forward? Would you rather invest in the future or try to get into the playoffs with this current regime?
I would capitalize the team that I have.
They are thinking that too because they did not let Jimmy go. And they paid him to be a backup.
You saying they have this on?
This is my argument for that. Jimmy, they wanted to trade him. That's all they wanted to do this entire offseason. They said, let's trade him.
Yeah.
Every team looked at it and said,
they're planning on moving on.
They can't.
They're playing. Yeah.
Every team in the league said they cannot.
Well, that's the same Baker situation.
Hold on. The team. Yeah, hold on.
That's a Baker situation. They played it smart.
They can't trade him. They have to cut him. So they re-signed him. Now he's on now they know they can trade him at any time. I think this deal was.
He's got no trade clause.
That doesn't make any sense though.
Really?
That doesn't.
He's got a no trade clause.
But that also wouldn't make any sense.
I'm pretty sure he's got a no trade clause.
That also wouldn't make any sense because why would we sign you to a higher deal than the team that would sign you if we cut you did? The team that we cut is not giving him that deal.
He signed with San Francisco because he knew that
they didn't do that to protect him in the long run. They did that because this team is too talented. And if Trey Lance is the reason we're losing games when we've been in the playoffs every year for the past 3 years,
nobody's denying that though.
We need to be.
But I think
we need to be able to go to that.
I think if it's close enough where the situation is they move on from Trey Lance and move back to Jimmy. Or they just let Trey continue to grow.
It's the perfect situation.
They stick with Trey.
You have him on a rookie contract.
It's a not at all.
It's the perfect situation. You have him in a rookie contract. If he's even slightly the reason that we're not going to make the playoffs, we have him for more years. He can sit and learn if we need to.
I'm on the same boat as you because this roster is so strong and built to win.
Yeah.
It's because they move so much that it's like
on for Jimmy. They've seen like you've brought up too that he wins. He wins, so the fans are going to be calling for him. Enough of this guy. Yeah. I don't care if you spent the last 3 picks. We want to win the Super Bowl. We've been in the playoffs.
This team can win a Super Bowl now.
And you want to do final word so we can move on?
That's fine. My last point was I looked up rankings of the quarterbacks last year. This is from NFL, so I would say it's a pretty reasonable site. Number 1, Tom Brady. Yeah. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers. Number 3, Josh Allen. 4, Herbert. 5, Stafford. Kind of crazy to see him there. 6, Joe Burrow. 7, Mahomes. 8, Kyler Murray. 9, Dak. 10, Derek Carr. I mean, then you could argue if he was one of those quarterbacks, yeah, I'd probably move on for sure. But let's keep going. 11, Russell Wilson. 12, Ryan Tannehill. 13, Kirk Cousins. 14, Lamar Jackson. 15, Matt Ryan. 16, Mac Jones. 17, Jalen. 18, Teddy Bridgewater. People forget he actually played pretty good. 19, Carson Wentz. 20, Jimmy G. Do you move on from your investment for the
He's above. Yes, he's above Trey Lance on that list, is he not?
Yes,
he's above Trey Lance on that list. Okay.
Yes. You move on.
There's a reason he didn't play.
You're saying you're moving on to the 20th best quarterback. You're not giving it context. This is the quarterback who has gotten them to a Super Bowl and the playoffs the past 4 years.
What have you done for me lately? That's how this fucking league.
Just win. That's all I do is win.
They moved on thinking that they had a Patrick Mahomes situation.
They paid him.
If it doesn't look like a Patrick Mahomes situation, that's why they gave him the money.
Why would they made him the highest paid backup ever, or like in the league? Why?
I just don't see the hype. Really,
it's not the hype; it's the consistency, and we want to win.
Last year, 22 passing touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 3 rushing touchdowns, 8 fumbles. He's
got shit to clean up. He's gotten that he wins.
I just don't think that.
We do need
we
need a
deserve.
No, I get y'all's argument. You I've pleaded early. The investment you put into him. Period.
Yes,
you're not beholden by the fucking investment. If the team is this good, the fucking Chiefs aren't doing this. Like these teams that are in the position, they're not going to do.
It all depends if he's winning.
They are going to take the best.
Then you don't hear this the rest of the season.
I have one more thing that I think no one brought up, but it's kind of a gimme. It also depends on the conference record. If the Rams are not winning, if the Seahawks are as bad as we all originally thought, and the Cardinals are not winning, even if you're not winning, you're still in that playoff contention.
You can still compete in my own division.
As long as you're in playoff contention.
But he's the only question mark on that team, really. So
same thing with Jalen.
They should be 4-2 coming out of the break. That's them losing to the Rams and the Broncos, but they've already lost. So 3-3 going to the Chiefs. The question will be there, whether you guys want to admit it or not. The question will be there.
Do y'all have a problem with his strip club antics? This is completely serious.
Nobody cares about his
personal life. Doesn't really matter to me.
Okay,
is he beating women?
Some old heads they might be saying,
did
"Hey,
he
you should be committed."
Everybody up in that club? No, he was just having fun.
Exactly.
If you want to say he's not into it, that's different. But I don't care.
We're gonna move on to fantasy. We're gonna talk about our fantasy football teams. All right, so now we're gonna look into how the podcast fantasy is doing.
Week 1, right? We're not gonna talk about
what's currently going on. No.
Yeah. All right. I mean, we should do it like. I will fuck you up, buddy.
Go ahead.
I will fucking murder you. But anyways, we should just cover how all of our teams did individually. My team, terrible. It went really bad for me. So I played Cody week 1. I ended up scoring 133 points with 2 quarterbacks and another flex, and Cody fucking dominated me because he has.
I didn't know it was that bad.
He had Josh Allen. He had Patrick Mahomes. He had. Don't you have Swift? You had DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
You have Jonathan Taylor.
Saquon Barkley.
Left. I may have had the worst luck in terms of the best performances of the week. You ended up having pretty much all of them on your team.
Our big argument though was who has the best quarterbacks, and I just want to say, like we all thought.
Cody for sure.
Yeah, I'll take that money now. I don't think that was the easiest bet I've ever made. So.
And
Burrow killed you, which
I had the second best by a lot.
No,
did you?
You had the second best by 5 points.
Tom Brady played very average though. He didn't.
Really. Yeah, Brady had 10 points.
Yeah, but you were talking Lamar's way better.
He is.
He scored less.
They played to win.
You have Justin, don't you?
I have Justin and Kyler Murray, and they both outscored his best.
Yeah, they played to win. And if
no shit,
Lamar didn't.
And
no, I'm saying the Ravens didn't. The Ravens didn't open up the fucking playbook. It was a very easy game.
Lamar had 20-something.
Where you should be poking your shit at is
we're talking about fantasy wise.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Where you should be poking your shit at is fucking Joe Burrow. Turning the ball over 5 fucking times. That's what held me back. Because if he doesn't have that's what I'm saying. That's 10 more points, and I am second. I
had a week start with my starters because Kyle Pitts only had 3.9. He literally had 2 catches. CD fucking dropped literally everything. The Eagles defense didn't think we were going to have 35 scored on us, and then Tom Brady had 10.
I'm not bringing up the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I said my team was better, and it was. Period. There's no. Well, if he doesn't throw 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
He did throw 4 interceptions.
Just bring up the scoreboard in fantasy. That's how they played.
What about this week, Brennan? What about this week? Because I have my team being better than yours.
Hey, I think I'm actually.
You think your team's better than mine?
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, what if I end up winning this week?
Who am I playing now? Gobble, you?
Yeah, you're playing me.
Because you had your team over mine. You said I was the worst.
I do. I still think so.
It's fucked up, man. Come on.
Well, yeah, because Nick Chubb is going crazy, and I mean Lamar's already.
So how
playing
close?
well.
How close was your all's game?
196 to 175.
Yeah, so I mean, you blew me out by like 80.
So I only lost.
So it was really not even close. But the thing is that with how it went in this,
your team's not that much better.
I don't think it's 21 points better throughout the year.
Justin Jefferson saved you. Justin Jefferson going on and Diggs.
It's his number one pick.
No, wait.
Michael Pittman does that.
Yeah,
That's what Michael Pittman does, though. It blows my mind that Michael Pittman's always.
Pittman was my highest scorer.
Fantasy.
Michael Pittman was my highest scorer, I believe. Let's go back. Hold on, motherfucker.
So okay, who do we have the best team starting off in the season?
You.
Who was the second?
We all had our own team second.
What was it unanimous? Okay, who was?
I had Anthony last.
Anthony, and then me.
Okay.
Then him.
Right now, it's you, him, me, and him. He's clearly the worst.
Okay. You're a fucking
but
idiot.
You had 140 points
that's kind of what happened.
in a fucking 4-man league.
I got
you put 130 points in a 4-man league.
Bro, it was unlucky.
That was less than our 10-man league scores.
I bet I score more than you this week.
No.
I do.
No.
I absolutely do.
No.
Yes.
I could have benched my.
You're not scoring more than me now.
I could have benched my.
My best player was Jamar Chase. My quarterbacks didn't even score 20.
What the fuck does that mean?
And we're talking about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Like, I had Keenan Allen. He got hurt before the half. Like,
I had Michael Thomas and Jerry Jeudy on my bench. That's 40 right there.
Yeah,
that's fucking 40 right
how
there.
Bad my bench was? It's horrible.
So you're all okay. So the second and third teams that we were kind of arguing, it's kind of falling.
Yeah, it's still
Okay, so y'all were close.
Yeah.
And then I got blown out.
I could have benched my quarterbacks and still beat you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think I
had the worst week by far because like Eckler didn't really dominate. James Conner didn't really do anything.
And that's what you haven't.
Yeah, like Kamara's not even playing this week.
Najee left early too.
Dude,
you went the fuck like your team is it's easily
okay.
The best.
Saquon wasn't doing shit, and I look up, he's got 32. I'm like,
and he's on your bench.
What is going
he's
on?
on your bench.
Yeah. So just to put in perspective, you have Josh Allen, QB1.
You know what's gonna fuck you?
QB2. Jonathan Taylor. I think he's the RB2. And then you have
he was no, I don't.
Current rankings.
He was 4.
Yeah, like now, like after
he was 4th. Yeah.
Okay. RB2 was
Swift was 5. You
Swift because it's
was 5. Saquon's on your bench, and he was the second.
Who's the first running back?
It was it Taylor?
Most points.
Was it Jonathan?
No, Jonathan Taylor was.
No, Jonathan Taylor had.
Ranked at 4th. No, Swift.
It was Saquon. Saquon was.
No, Saquon is 2.
Oh my god.
We just went over this. Listen.
One of them
was it Swift?
Hold on.
It may have been Swift. It may have been Swift.
Running backs
rankings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
CCAF was 20.
Scoring.
Mixon was 9.
No.
Connor was 17.
Number 1, Clyde Edwards.
Clyde did have a good game.
Nobody even has him.
I hope he fucking proves you wrong. You were shitting on him so much.
I
can't plead the case.
Stated right because I was right. He was a fucking flex target like he was last year. This year could be different because Tyreek's not there. Yes. Look at how that offense ran and tell me it's
the exact fucking same. They're throwing to with the running backs. He throws to everybody. Patrick Mahomes MVP. Shut the fuck.
You know what's crazy? Against you, Brendan, I am benching Deebo Samuel. That's incredible, isn't it? That's not a good idea at all. I'm probably going to switch him back in.
15 right now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Coop.
Oh, shit.
I had Cooper Kupp and he fucking went off. That's the thing is I almost matched you in points in every position.
He's got JJ Diggs though. That's kind of
21 points is not an almost. That's like a full.
Hold on, no, because I was looking.
Yeah, we've got every player. Yeah.
Talking about live updates, the Lions, they're beating the fuck out of the Commanders. It's 22-0 currently.
That's what I was saying. That's what's gonna fuck.
Not
you.
even into the
Terry's
second
not
half
touching that fucking ball.
My God,
that might fuck you.
That's crazy. I really want to take the Lions too. I was like, yeah.
It is what it is.
So where you beat me,
where they fucking left off against y'all, I guess. That's awesome. I mean, I got Swift and Amon-Ra, so
that's what it was. You literally beat me in 2 players. You beat me in Christian McCaffrey outscoring Derrick Henry, and your defense outscored my defense. That's where.
Hold on. Well, I was gonna say real quick. Herbert outscored Lamar. Kyler outscored Joe Burrow. McCaffrey outscored Derrick Henry.
But that's what I was saying. That's where the biggest jumps were.
I
didn't see
that.
that.
Outscored Dalvin. J2 outscored Cooper Kupp.
This was so
Diggs
close.
outscored
Your
Tyreek
entire
Hill.
team outscored his team.
No. Travis Kelce
destroyed
Mark Andrews.
Fuck, well.
And then Mike Evans made up for over Aaron Jones. Nick Chubb.
That's what I was saying. That's where
Buffalo's defense smacked.
Your defense.
I literally benched fucking Amon-Ra for Swift on my way back to here.
Did he have that touchdown?
Amon-Ra has 19 right now. Yeah.
You should have started them both. I'm not.
This team is fucking.
Who am I benching, Anthony? Najee Harris, Saquon Barkley, or Jonathan Taylor?
Look at Najee, what he's done so far. I get just pan it out, but look at what Najee's done. Like,
so after week 1,
clearly Cody's team's the best.
Cody's team is cracked.
He has so many.
That's crazy
good players.
Oh, you're talking about right now. We're not talking about right now.
I'm going to beat you this week. I'm going to beat
Cody's
you.
team is cracked.
That's crazy. So what happens next week when I beat him?
We'll see, motherfucker.
Saquon's
Saquon's going to go off again. He's going to have another 30 by this game.
All
right. Piss is storing the balls. We're going to move on.
That's a walking 30. Yeah,
we have a last call.
All right.
And something you'd like to bring up.
Yep.
I just think it's,
okay.
I wish we could talk another fucking hour about Trey Lance, but no, I just think it's kind of fucking scary that the same fucking doctor that handled Tyrod Taylor's injury is also handling Justin Herbert's injury.
You think he's making jokes about it? Oh,
they're both injured.
Oh, I'm good.
They're both injured. He fucking better not be. I honestly, if I'm the fucking Chargers, I don't know how he's still employed there. Fuck that.
Doctors make mistakes, man. It's not like he malpracticed and he really
but when that mistake,
you still get settlements from that.
You get lucky. They got lucky because it turned into Justin Herbert. But what happens if they do it to Herbert? It's the same doctor. It's the same injury. It's this.
You think doctors think about that in every surgery? Damn, what if I fuck up here? I mean,
I would think so. I would hope. They're worried about fucking up.
I mean, how many times does he see ribs in that freak accident?
Yeah. It's a freak accident, but
he's in the NFL. He's a doctor in the NFL. I assume he's like the best.
It's just crazy that it's the same injury, the same doctor, same.
Yeah, look out.
Same position.
I'd be making jokes. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
The hands all shaky.
I'd be like, get this
hilarious
away from me.
That's another week of Totally Not Biased.